Chapter 92. What? Lin Zhen has attacked Ning Yu. Why is Lin Zhen so powerful? His cultivation base has probably reached the peak of the late Xiantian stage. Whoa! Lin Zhen's sudden attack caused a huge uproar in the mysterious Qianxian square, causing many cultivators to break out into heated discussions. This time, their focus was no longer on whether Ning Yu could block Lin Zhen's powerful attack, but how did Lin Zhen become so powerful? One must know that Lin Zhen's cultivation base was only at the mid-Xiantian stage a month ago. Now, the strength he displayed was infinitely close to the full Xiantian stage. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Ji Yu Ming. In the face of Lin Zhen's powerful punch, Ning Yu's expression was calm, without the slightest hint of nervousness. He waved his palm in the air and pushed it out. Soon after, a palm containing boundless yuan energy flew out. It made a turn in the air and met Lin Zhen's fist head-on. Ning Yu, I really admire you for being able to remain calm at a time like this. The corners of Lin Zhen's lips curled up as his fist rapidly flew out and collided with the illusory palm. Crack! However, just as his fist collided with Ning Yu's palm, Lin Zhen's expression changed. This was because he could sense a trace of trembling that originated from the depths of his soul from the palm. Deceiving. With a low roar, Lin Zhen's body sped up once again. In the blink of an eye, he had arrived in front of Ning Yu. His fist carried a violent gust of wind as it fiercely smashed towards the latter's head. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Serene Fiend. The corners of Ning Yu's lips curled up as his grade 4 soul force surged. Another palm was thrown out, this one aimed at Lin Zhen from an extremely tricky angle. Child's play. With a cold snort, Lin Zhen casually threw out a punch to block Yusho's attack. Yusho's palm was extremely fast, and his soul force fluctuations were not obvious, so it created a false impression for Lin Zhen. The Nether Fiend did not have much power. However, a split second later, Lin Zhen's expression changed drastically as he regretted his carelessness. Because the punch that he casually threw out was like paper in front of Yusho, and it was quickly destroyed. In the next moment, under his horrified gaze, Yusho slammed into his chest. Xiantian Yuan Qi Wave. At this critical moment, Lin Zhen hurriedly stretched his hand into his robe and then suddenly threw it out. Suddenly, a wave of Yuan Qi light swept towards Ning Yu. Heaven Fiend Sword Wave. Facing the innate vital energy wave, Ning Yu's mind moved, and the soul-breaking sword appeared in his hand. With a slash of his sword, a piercingly cold sword light appeared. Under the astonished gazes of the crowd, the innate Qi wave was ruthlessly dispersed. Poochie. Although the innate vital energy wave withstood Ning Yu's attack, Lin Zhen had already suffered from Yusho's attack. At this moment, his breathing was a little chaotic, and his soul had suffered serious injuries. Compared to the Assassination Pavilion's Xiantian full-circle martial artist, Lin Zhen's strength was much weaker. Against a Xiantian full-circle martial artist like Lin Zhen, Ning Yu did not need to use his full strength. Swish. Silence, silence. The entire Tianxian square became incomparably silent, not a single sound could be heard. No one expected that the situation would develop in such a dramatic way. After a while, the silence was finally broken. What? Lin Zhen lost? Is Ning Yu still human? He actually defeated Lin Zhen. From the strength that Ning Yu displayed just now, his cultivation should have advanced to the Xiantian stage. He must have advanced to the Xiantian stage. Otherwise, what's the difference between a Hutian stage and a Xiantian late stage, or even a Xiantian full-circle martial artist like Lin Zhen and a monster? Many martial artists were discussing loudly, and they did not bother to conceal it. When it reached Lin Zhen's ears, he felt a pain in his chest. Once again, he spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face was a little pale. This time, he had lost a lot of face. Originally, he wanted to kill Ning Yu, or at least cripple Ning Yu's cultivation. Now, forget about killing Ning Yu, he was almost killed by Ning Yu. Lin Zhen could imagine that in the future, he would become the target of ridicule in Tianxian City. Ning Yu, I will definitely kill you. Clenching his fists, Lin Zhen's face was full of viciousness. Swish, swish. Seeing that Lin Zhen was injured, Wang Qinian and Zhao Lai flashed and landed in front of Lin Zhen. Zhao family head, the Wang family head, Could it be that you want to have a spar with me? Raising his eyebrows, Ningyu released the yuan qi from one of the cyclones, forming a small yuan qi light wave around him. Swoosh! Feeling the strong yuan qi wave around Ningyu, Wang Qinian and Zhao Lai's faces turned extremely gloomy, and they could not help but take a few steps back. Could it be that he has advanced to the Xiantian full circle? The same thought emerged in the minds of Wang Qinian and Zhao Lai at the same time. After all, the yuan qi intensity around Ningyu was not inferior to theirs. Both of them were at the peak of the Xiantian late stage. Did that mean that Ningyu had advanced to the Xiantian full circle? Thinking of this, Wang Qinian and Zhao Lai's faces turned even gloomier. At the same time, a sense of powerlessness engulfed their bodies. Ningyu, I did not expect you to become so powerful. With a gloomy face, Lin Zhen pushed Wang Qinian and Zhao Lai away and said in a low voice, I admit that I have underestimated you. You are qualified to be my opponent. Shrugging his shoulders, Ningyu said faintly, I'm sorry, but you are not qualified to be my opponent. Lad, if he is not qualified to be your opponent, do I? Just as Ningyu finished his sentence, a slightly arrogant voice suddenly rang out in the Tianxian Square. Immediately, a figure flew in from the entrance of the Tianxian Square and appeared in front of Ningyu in an instant. With a punch, a faint fluctuation of yuan energy appeared on it as it ruthlessly smashed towards Ningyu's chest. Faced with this sudden attack, Ningyu's pupils shrank. The yuan energy within the two cyclones surged out and gathered on his fist. In the next moment, a fist that also contained a powerful fluctuation of yuan energy abruptly shot out. The powerful energy ripples even caused the surrounding air to be compressed and dispersed. Bang! Two powerful yuan energy ripples swept across the sky above the Tianxian Square. The practitioners in the Tianxian Square all had their mouths agape as they looked at the two powerful yuan energy ripples in the sky. Their faces were filled with disbelief. Boom! A loud sound rang out as the two fists collided violently. Bang! After the fists collided, a low muffled sound rang out as a brilliant light exploded. Frightening yuan qi fluctuations swept out. Even the martial artists below were affected. Some of the martial artists who were closer were pushed back several feet before they could stabilize themselves. Swish! At this moment, Ningyu's body was also pushed back, only coming to a stop when he reached the edge of the Tianxian Square. As for the other figure, he landed steadily on the high platform of the Tianxian Square. He looked at Ningyu with a slightly solemn expression. Clearly, he was also shocked by Ningyu's powerful punch. Lin Jingtian. Chapter 93. Ningyu, I wonder if I can be your opponent. On the high platform, Lin Jingtian was expressionless as he said in a low voice, You don't even know how to control your temper at such a young age. When you leave Tianxian City in the future, you will definitely suffer. Fine, I will teach you a lesson on behalf of Ninghai. Swoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Jingtian stomped on the ground and dashed towards Ningyu. Through that move, Lin Jingtian could tell that Ningyu's true strength was at the innate realm full completion. He could even go toe-to-toe with an early-stage real martial realm martial artist. He was so powerful at such a young age. In a few years, there would be no place for the Lin family in Tianxian City. Therefore, he wanted to take advantage of Ninghai's absence to kill Ningyu. Middle stage real martial realm. Looking at the approaching Lin Jingtian, Ningyu's face darkened. He held the soul-breaking sword in front of him and injected the yuan qi from the cyclone. Teish Kenpo. With a low roar, just as Ningyu was about to display his Teish Kenpo, his expression changed and he retreated. Whoosh! As Ningyu retreated, a powerful fist appeared in front of Lin Jingtian. Lin Jingtian looked on in shock as his fist collided with Ningyu's. Bang! After the blow, Lin Jingtian's body flew backwards and landed heavily on the ground. Swoosh! Standing up abruptly, Lin Jingtian looked at the figure on the high platform and shouted, May I know who you are? Why did you attack me? On the high platform, a middle-aged man stood with a gloomy expression. Hearing Lin Jingtian's words, the middle-aged man glared at him. Suddenly, a purplish-red ray of light appeared in his eyes and rushed towards Lin Jingtian. Soul power. Looking at the purplish-red ray of light, Ningyu was shocked. Others might not know what the purplish-red ray of light was, but he knew that it was soul power. Moreover, the strength of that soul power was at least at the 5th grade. In other words, the middle-aged man on the high platform had an extremely strong soul power. Poochie. Just as Ningyu was in shock, Lin Jingtian suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream and spat out a mouthful of blood. Danwu College's examination elder, Han Feng, after repelling Lin Jingtian, the middle-aged man on the high platform no longer looked at him. Instead, he slowly swept his gaze across the Tianxian Square and said, "I will be in charge of the ice cave assessment in Tianxian City this time." Hua. Han Feng's words caused Lin Jingtian's face to turn ashen. Although he was furious, he didn't dare to show it. How could he offend an elder of Danwu College? Even if he had 8 times the guts, he wouldn't dare. Everyone who is participating in the icy cave test, stand on the high platform, Han Feng said without looking at Lin Jingtian. Hearing this, Ningyu took a step forward and led the other 7 young warriors of the Ning family onto the high platform. On the other side, Zhao Xian and Wang Dao also slowly walked onto the high platform. Lin Xiao looked at Lin Zhen. After receiving a confirmation from Lin Zhen, his figure flashed and he jumped onto the high platform. Seeing the 11 young warriors on the high platform, Han Feng frowned and said, "If I remember correctly, there should only be 10 slots for the assessment in Tianxian City, right? Why are there 11 warriors here?" His eyes lit up. Lin Zhen hurriedly said, "Elder Han, there are indeed only 10 slots for the assessment in Icy Cave. Among them, the Ning family performed well and obtained 7 slots. The rest, the Lin family, Zhao family, and the Wangs each obtained 1. Just as Lin Zhen opened his mouth, Ningyu's face darkened. He didn't expect Lin Zhen to be so insidious. Lying through his teeth. However, Ningyu didn't point it out, nor did he refute it. "I don't care how the slots were allocated. All I know is that only 10 people are allowed to enter the icy cave at a time." Waving his hand, Han Feng said, "The extra warrior, I'm giving you a chance now. Go down by yourself. If you don't go down, I will challenge the authority of Danwu College." On the high platform, Lin Xiao was a little nervous. Even his palms were sweating. Challenging the authority of Danwu College was a crime he couldn't afford. Slightly turning his body, Lin Xiao looked at Lin Zhen. Although he wanted to admit it, as a warrior of the Lin family, he didn't dare to leave the high platform before getting an affirmative answer from Lin Zhen. Gritting his teeth, Lin Zhen turned his head away and didn't look at Lin Xiao. In Lin Zhen's opinion, this might be the best chance to take down Ningyu. If he missed this opportunity, he wouldn't get another one. At that time, he, the Zhao family, and the Wangs would insist that the Ning family only had 7 slots. Even if Han Feng got angry, he would vent his anger on the Ning family. No one is admitting it. Good, very good. Very good. After a while, seeing that no one had left the high platform, Han Feng smiled and said, "Since you guys aren't willing to admit it, there's no need for the icy cave test this time. I hereby announce that no one has passed the icy cave test in Tianxian City." Swoosh. Han Feng's words were completely out of Lin Zhen's expectation. His mouth opened slightly, and he was speechless. But soon, a smile appeared on his face. This ending might be the best for him. Because in this case, Ningyu wouldn't be able to enter Danwu College. As long as Ningyu didn't enter Danwu College, he would have many opportunities to kill Ningyu. Elder Han. Lin Zhen was satisfied with this ending, but Ningyu wasn't. He took a step forward, pointed at Lin Xiao, and said, "He's the extra martial artist." Han Feng was about to leave, but seeing Ningyu's action, he stopped. "You said he's the extra martial artist. What evidence do you have?" "Elder Han, I don't have any evidence." Shaking his head, Ningyu said, "Hehe, without evidence, how can I believe what you say?" Han Feng smiled and looked at Ningyu with interest. Actually, Han Feng had arrived at Tianxian Square a long time ago. He had seen the battle between Ningyu and Lin Zhen, as well as how he resisted Lin Jingtian's attack. Based on his spiritual perception, which was unique to a 5th-tier alchemist, he could tell that Ningyu's spiritual strength was not weak. Moreover, Ningyu gave him a vague feeling, making him unable to see through him. "Elder Han, Lin Xiao is from the Lin family. Even if I show them any evidence, they will refute it. Glancing at Lin Zhen, Ning Yu said. Elder Han, you can't listen to Ning Yu's lies. Lin Zhen was afraid that the matter would be exposed, so he hurriedly said, the Ning family is not satisfied with obtaining 7 spots for the Frozen Caves assessment. They actually wanted to snatch our Lin family's assessment spot. Otherwise, I wouldn't have attacked them. Next to him, Zhao Lai and Wang Qinian also added, Elder Han, Lin Zhen's words are all true. We can testify. After a short pause, Han Feng said, there's no need to explain so much. Since your 2 families have different opinions, I will give you a fair chance. Each family will send out a young martial artist to participate in the martial battle and alchemy battle. The family that loses will automatically withdraw from the Frozen Caves assessment. Swoosh. Han Feng's words made Lin Zhen's heart sink. His face was like a pig's liver, extremely ugly. Chapter 94. Elder Han, we, the Ning family, have no objections. Taking a step forward, Ning Yu said, as for the younger generation warriors sent by the Ning family, I will take their place. Elder Han, we, the Lin family, choose to withdraw, Lin Zhen said bitterly, his face pale. Originally, he thought that Han Feng would believe him if the 3 families agreed. Who would have thought that Han Feng would propose such a method? Ning Yu was not only highly skilled in martial arts, but his talent in alchemy was also one of the best in Tianqian City. None of the younger generation warriors in Tianqian City could surpass him in these 2 aspects. How dare you? Han Feng snorted and scolded, the Danwu College's assessment is sacred. Whoever dares to obstruct us is challenging the authority of Danwu College. Thump. Trembling, Lin Zhen knelt on the ground and said in horror, Elder Han, the Ning family has 8 spots for the assessment, the Zhao family and the Wangs have 1 each. As for the Lin family, there were originally a few. Waving his hand, Han Feng interrupted Lin Zhen and said, I don't want to know anything else. Since you broke the rules, you should be aware of it and cancel the Lin family's assessment for the next 3 years. Hearing this, Lin Zhen was dumbfounded and stood rooted to the ground. This time, he had really outsmarted himself. He went for wool and came home shorn. It was as if he had eaten *T. The icy cave is in the magical Beast Mountain range. Follow me to the icy cave. Jumping off the high platform, Han Feng walked out of the Tianqian Square. Brother Shuang, this Ning Yu is so strong. At the edge of the Tianqian Square, a few young warriors gathered together. One of them, about 24 or 25 years old, said, Lin Zhen has the cultivation of the innate complete realm, but Ning Yu could actually defeat him. Cao Shuang said, defeating Lin Zhen is nothing. He's just a warrior who has just reached the consummate Xiantian realm. The key is that old man. If I am not mistaken, he is in the middle stage of the true martial realm. It is not easy for Ning Yu to block one move from him. With my current strength, under the premise that I don't use my trump card, it will be difficult for me to block a move from a martial artist in the middle stage of the true martial realm. Brother Shuang, do you mean to say that Ning Yu is stronger than you? The 24 or 25-year-old martial artist had a look of disbelief on his face as he asked in surprise. Do you have a pig brain? A martial artist at the side said, once Brother Shuang uses his trump card, even 10 Ning Yus wouldn't be his match. Let's go, let's make a trip to the magical Beast Mountain range as well. Waving her hand, Cao Shuang started walking toward the exit of the mysterious Sky Plaza. I didn't expect Ning Yu to be so strong. No wonder the patriarch told me not to worry when he left. Looking at Ning Yu's departing figure, Ning Tang took a deep breath and quickly left the mysterious Sky Plaza. Now that Ning Hai was not in mysterious Sky City, he had to deal with all the matters of the Ning family, big or small. In addition, the patriarch was a little injured. Before Ning Hai returned, he had to stabilize the Ning family and ensure that this ship did not sink. Ning Yu. Lin Zhen clenched his fists, his face full of malice, and said in a deep voice, Zhao Lai, Wang Qinian, go back and prepare. It's time to let the Ning family know the strength of our 3 families. Lin Zhen, isn't this a little too rushed? Slightly frowning, Zhao Lai had a worried look on his face. After all, if Ning Yu were to participate in the icy cave assessment, and if he passed and gained Han Feng's appreciation, it would mean that the Ning family had gained the support of Danwu College. Making a move against the Ning family at this juncture was no different from pulling a tooth out of a tiger's mouth. No, once Ning Yu passes the Icy Cave assessment, he will immediately follow Han Feng to another assessment location. He will not return to mysterious Sky City. With an evil smile, Lin Zhen said ruthlessly, "We have to seize this opportunity. While Ning Hai is not back and Ning Yu is participating in the assessment, we have to give the Ning family a heavy blow." "All right, we'll listen to you." Since they were already in the same boat as Lin Zhen, Wang Qinian and Zhao Lai had no choice but to agree with Lin Zhen's decision. After all, the Lin family still had Lin Jingtian, who was in the middle stage of the martial realm. After Han Feng brought Ning Yu and the others out of mysterious Sky City, they stopped. Whoosh! Han Feng made a gesture towards the sky, and immediately, a cry came from the sky. A huge black-feathered eagle descended from the sky, its wings spread open. It was at least a dozen meters long, and it was extremely shocking. The black eagle is a late-stage third-rank demonic beast, and its battle strength is comparable to a Xiantian great perfection martial artist. It was actually subdued by Elder Han, Zhao Xian said while trembling. Wang Dao also said while trembling, "It is said that the black eagle has an extremely bad temper and likes to eat human flesh." Hearing their words, the young martial artists of the Ning family took a step back and leaned behind Ning Yu. On the other hand, Ning Yu was very calm. Although the black eagle was a late-stage third-rank demonic beast, he was not afraid. At this moment, Han Feng said, "Everyone, get on the back of the black eagle. We're going to the Icy Cave now." Ning Yu was calm. With a leap, he was the first to jump on the back of the black eagle. Screech! Feeling a martial artist stepping on its back, the black eagle let out a long screech towards the sky. Its entire body emitted an aura, wanting to shake off Ning Yu. Seeing the situation, Han Feng did not stop it. Instead, he wanted to see how Ning Yu would deal with the current situation. Humph! With a cold snort, Ning Yu gathered his soul power on his palm and slapped it out, hitting the black eagle's wing. Screech! Just as his palm hit the black eagle's wing, the black eagle let out two soft screeches and became obedient. Soul power! Seeing Ning Yu's actions, Han Feng's brows twitched, and a hint of shock appeared on his face. With his keen senses, he was naturally able to capture some clues. Just now, there was actually a wisp of soul power that entered the black eagle's wing through Ning Yu's palm, causing the black eagle to become docile and obedient. Wow, Big Brother Ning Yu is really amazing. Even the black eagle was subdued by him. Of course, Big Brother Ning Yu is the best. Let's go up too. Ning Xian and the rest looked at Ning Yu with faces full of admiration. Then, with a leap, they jumped onto the black eagle's back. Let's go. Zhao Xian and Wang Dao clenched their teeth and jumped up. Swoosh. However, before Zhao Xian and Wang Dao could stabilize themselves on the black eagle's back, the black eagle suddenly flapped its wings and flung them down, causing them to fall flat on their faces. "You." After climbing up from the ground, Zhao Xian pointed at Ning Yu and said, "Why did you instigate the black eagle to attack us? You can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want." Ning Yu's face turned cold, and he said in a low voice, "If you dare to frame me again, don't blame me for being impolite." "All right, stop arguing." With a flash, Han Feng grabbed Zhao Xian and Wang Dao and placed them on the black eagle's back. Then, he said, "Sit tight, the black eagle's speed is very fast. We will arrive at the ice cave in about 2 hours. Hooah!" In the next instant, the black eagle soared into the sky, and in the blink of an eye, it was far away, flying towards the depths of the magical Beast Mountain range. The black eagle's speed was extremely fast. In a mere 10 minutes, it had already entered the depths of the magical Beast Mountain range. Roar! 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 However, just at this moment, an earth-shattering roar sounded. Screech! Chapter 95. Fire Cloud Leopard. Han Feng's expression changed as he stroked the black eagle with his right hand to calm it down. "Wait here and don't go anywhere." Han Feng let out a low cry. Immediately, he leaped down from the back of the black eagle and charged into the distance. "It's a fire cloud leopard." Ning Yu's eyes narrowed as his expression turned solemn. The fire cloud leopard was a 4th-rank demonic beast, and its strength was comparable to an early-stage true martial realm martial artist. Originally, with Han Feng's strength, he could even contend with a late-stage 4th-rank demonic beast. But this time, it wasn't just one fire cloud leopard, but a pack. There were more than 10 of them. Boom! At this moment, Han Feng and the fire cloud leopard were already exchanging blows. The powerful Yuan Qi caused the surrounding trees to snap in half. Roar! A fire cloud leopard roared into the sky and suddenly sped up, using its sharp claws to claw at Han Feng's chest. The claws of the fire cloud leopard were as sharp as iron hooks. Their claws could easily pierce through a low-grade mystic class artifact. Bastard! Han Feng's eyes turned cold as he punched out to meet the fire cloud leopard's claws. The powerful energy in Han Feng's fist caused the fire cloud leopard to panic. Seeing the panic in the fire cloud leopard's eyes, Han Feng sped up and dodged its sharp claws, then fiercely smashed toward its head. Bang! Han Feng's fist landed squarely on the fire cloud leopard's head. The huge impact pushed the fire cloud leopard back several feet. It's indeed a fire cloud leopard. To be able to withstand 50% of my strength and not die. Han Feng retreated slightly in shock. He had used 50% of his strength in that punch and it had landed on the weakest part of the fire cloud leopard's head, but it still did not die. The fire cloud leopard's defense was shocking. The fire cloud leopard is a 4th-rank demonic beast. It shouldn't appear here. Han Feng frowned and mumbled, could it be that there's something wrong with the forbidden area of the Magical Beast Mountain Range? Although there were many demonic beasts in the Magical Beast Mountain Range, in all these years, there had never been any news of a rank 4 demonic beast appearing. Of course, the riot 18 years ago did not count. Han Feng knew very well that it wasn't that the Magical Beast Mountain Range didn't have any rank 4 demonic beasts. It was because all the demonic beasts above rank 4 were in the Forbidden Grounds and wouldn't easily leave. Encountering a group of fire cloud leopards here meant that there was a problem with the Forbidden Grounds. Roar! The remaining dozen or so fire cloud leopards let out a loud roar toward the sky when they saw their companion defeated. They charged toward Han Feng in an orderly manner. Humph! Since you've left the forbidden area, don't blame me. With a cold snort, Han Feng unleashed his powerful aura and threw out several punches at the fire cloud leopard. Han Feng was in the late stage of the true martial realm, and his strength was extremely powerful. The reason why he was unable to kill the fire cloud leopard in one strike was because he had not used his full strength. He had only used 50% of his strength. Now that he had used his full strength, the weather suddenly changed and the sky changed color. So this is the strength of the late stage of the true martial realm. From afar, Ning Yu's eyes narrowed as he felt the majestic Yuan Qi fluctuation around Han Feng. He was shocked. With his current overall strength, he could easily defeat a Xiantian full-cycle martial artist. He could contend with a true martial realm martial artist, and if he caught them off guard, he could even kill them. As for a true martial realm martial artist, even if he only used 50% of his strength, he could still kill him effortlessly. Roar! At the same time, the dozen or so fire cloud leopards felt the powerful energy contained in the punches and let out a loud roar to dispel the fear in their hearts. Bang! 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 However, in the face of absolute strength, no matter how many roars they made, it was useless. A series of crisp sounds could be heard as the dozen or so fire cloud leopards were blown back like sieves. Looks like the icy cave assessment this time is a little unusual. After repelling the dozen or so fire cloud leopards, Han Feng stood on the spot with a worried expression. The icy cave was located at the periphery of the Magic Beast Mountain Range and was very close to it. In the previous icy cave assessments, there had never been any problems, but this time, a 4th-rank demonic beast had appeared. From this, it could be seen that the icy cave assessment this time was unusual. At this moment, Han Feng even wanted to bring Ning Yu and the rest back to Tianqian City and give up on the icy cave assessment this time. However, when he thought of the other elders of Danwu College who would also bring the assessment participants to the icy cave, his worry was slightly alleviated. The icy cave was an assessment location set up by Danwu College in Tianqian City. It did not mean that only people from Tianqian City were allowed to participate in the assessment, but with Tianqian City as the center, martial artists from the surrounding dozens of cities would come. Han Feng was the person in charge of the icy cave assessment this time, and his cultivation was in the late stage of the true martial realm. The other people in charge of the icy cave assessment in dozens of cities were in the middle stage of the Xiantian stage to the Xiantian full cycle. Forget it, let's continue forward. With a grave expression, Han Feng turned his head around, intending to return to the back of the Black Eagle. However, just as he turned his head around, his expression changed drastically. Both his legs kicked the ground, and his body darted out in an instant. This was because a fire cloud leopard had unknowingly appeared in front of the Black Eagle and was now confronting it. One had to know that there were 10 icy cave assessment participants on the back of the Black Eagle. If anything went wrong, even if he was the person in charge of the icy cave assessment, he would not be able to bear the responsibility. Facing the powerful fire cloud leopard, the pressure that came from the depths of the soul caused the Black Eagle to tremble with fear. If not for Ningyu's constant reassurance, it would have definitely turned around and fled. Swoosh! Finally, the fire cloud leopard no longer confronted the Black Eagle. Instead, it leaped and suddenly rushed out. Damn it! Ningyu cursed under his breath, and the soul-severing sword appeared in his hand. Teish Kenpo. As the sword stabbed out, there was a slight tremor in the void and a buzzing sound could be heard. In the next moment, a sword wave that contained powerful energy blasted towards the fire cloud leopard at an extremely shocking speed. Roar! With an angry roar, the fire cloud leopard spat out a mouthful of red flames to meet the sword radiance. Kai Kai! The flames and the sword radiance collided, and a sizzling sound could be heard. Immediately after, Ningyu suddenly rushed out from the back of the Black Eagle and waved the soul-severing sword repeatedly. In an instant, several sword radiances slashed out and formed a sword radiance array in front of him. Go! With a point of his finger, several sword radiances swept out and surrounded the fire cloud leopard from all directions. Seeing the sword radiances that Ningyu slashed out, Han Feng's speeding body slowed down slightly. This was because he could feel a very powerful wave of primordial qi from the sword radiances. The strength of the primordial qi contained in each sword radiance has probably reached the Xiantian full completion. With a sparkle in his eyes, Han Feng raised his eyebrows and thought to himself, no wonder Elder Guan asked me to lead the assessment in the icy cave of Tianqian City. He said that there was a surprise. Chapter 96. Kill. As Ningyu shouted, several sword rays slashed out, and the fire cloud leopard was horrified as they slammed into its body. Kai 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 Kai. The sword projections were extremely fast and appeared in front of the fire cloud leopard in the blink of an eye before slashing its body. Roar. The fire cloud leopard let out an angry roar as it was struck by several sword rays. It stomped on the ground and roared as it charged at Ningyu. Its defensive power is actually so shocking. Ningyu already knew that the fire cloud leopard's defense was strong, but he didn't expect it to be this powerful. Even his strongest move, the Teish Kenpo, couldn't break through its defense. With a cold look in his eyes, Ningyu's Yuan Qi whirled crazily. His fourth-grade soul force emerged and gathered on his fist. However, just as he was about to unleash the netherworld samsara palm, a thought passed through his mind, and he forcefully stopped. Shio. The moment Ningyu stopped, a shadow flashed past him and appeared beside the fire cloud leopard in the blink of an eye. A fist was thrown out and landed right on the fire cloud leopard's head. Bang! The enormous force caused the fire cloud leopard to fly back several meters. Elder Han. Concealing his soul power, Ningyu said calmly, let's go and try to reach the frost cave as soon as possible. After casually repelling the fire cloud leopard, Han Feng did not ask any questions. Instead, he leaped onto the back of the Black Eagle. Since Han Feng did not ask, Ningyu could not be bothered to explain. His figure flashed, and he similarly leaped onto the Black Eagle. Screech! Letting out a long screech, the Black Hawk flapped its massive wings and flew deeper into the mountain range of magical beasts. Brother Ningyu, just how strong are you? On the back of the Black Hawk, Ningxin's large eyes blinked and she said in adoration, if only I had half your powers. Hearing this, The rest of the younger generation of the Ning family looked at Ning Yu. Just now, Ning Yu's powerful attack had completely subdued them. Originally, they had already regarded Ning Yu as their idol. After this battle, they worshipped Ning Yu even more. At the side, Zhao Xian and Wang Dao glared at Ning Yu viciously, their eyes filled with anger. 1 month ago, if they wanted to kill Ning Yu, it would be as easy as blowing off dust. Now, Ning Yu had already grown to the extent that he was able to go against a martial artist at the consummate stage of the Xiantian realm. If they wanted to kill Ning Yu again, it would be extremely difficult. At this time, I'm afraid the family has already made a move against the Ning family. Clenching his fists, Zhao Xian's lips curled into an evil smile. Although he was no match for Ning Yu, in terms of family power, the current Zhao family was miles ahead of the Ning family. In the path of cultivation, one must take it one step at a time. Remember not to bite off more than you can chew. Ning Yu said in a low voice, as long as all of you work hard in your cultivation, I believe it will not be long before you surpass me. Millimeter pursing her lips, Ning Xin nodded and said, I will work hard. Screech. At that moment, the black eagle cried out. Ning Yu looked ahead and saw that about 1,000 meters away, there were 3 huge black eagles circling in the air. On the backs of the huge black eagles, there were also a group of martial artists. That is the team from Mingwang City who are here to take part in the Frozen Caves trial. Han Feng said when he saw Ning Yu's puzzled expression. Mingwang City? Ning Yu raised an eyebrow. Mingwang City was a city to the east of Tianxian City and it was much bigger than Tianxian City. Let's speed up and catch up. Han Feng nodded and patted the black eagle. The black eagle flapped its wings and sped up. Soon, Ning Yu and his team caught up with the team from Mingwang City. Elder Han. Seeing Han Feng, the 3 Danwu College elders flew down from the back of the black eagle. One of the Xiantian full realm elders took a step forward and said respectfully, I have something to report to you. Just now, we detected the aura of a 4th order demonic beast. I already know about it. Waving his hand, Han Feng said softly, on the way here, I met more than 10 fire cloud leopards. Fire cloud leopards. Hearing that, the Danwu College elders' faces changed and they could not help but shiver. They knew that the fire cloud leopards were 4th order demonic beasts and were extremely powerful. If they were to encounter a fire cloud leopard, the consequences would be dire. After all, the 3 elders were only at the Xiantian full realm. If they were to encounter a fire cloud leopard, they would definitely die. Which city is that team from? What is the identity of their leader? Why is Elder Shen so respectful towards him? From afar, seeing Shen Fei being so respectful towards Han Feng, a Xiantian mid-realm elder asked with a frown. Young Master Liu, that team is from Tianxian City. On the back of the Black Eagle, a monkey-faced martial artist said, as for their leader, his position in Danwu College might be higher than Elder Shen's. Tianxian City is just a small place. In the previous icy cave assessments, they were almost completely wiped out. Liu Heng was confused and said, it doesn't make sense for a city like this to have such a high position. The monkey-faced martial artist said, young Master Liu, I don't know about that. Liu Heng, have you forgotten that in this innate realm ranking, there is a martial artist from Tianxian City who made it to the top 1000? On the back of another black eagle, a Xiantian mid-realm elder with delicate features and a folding fan in his hand said, according to the innate realm ranking, the martial artist who made it to the innate realm ranking is called Ning Yu. His cultivation is 1 level lower than both of us. By Pingji, don't tell me you want to challenge Ning Yu. Liu Heng snorted and said, don't forget, you are only ranked 9,500th on the innate realm ranking. There is a difference of 8,000 ranks between you and Ning Yu. I think Ning Yu can defeat you in 1 move. Hihi, Liu Heng, don't try to provoke me. You are only ranked 9,400th on the innate realm ranking. Bai Pingji said with a smile. Liu Heng said, the innate realm ranking is not necessarily accurate. It only records the strongest fighting power that a Xiantian warrior has displayed before. It is not the ultimate fighting power. Even so, Ning Yu is ranked 1000 on the innate realm ranking. It means that he is quite strong. Bai Pingji frowned and said, I would like to challenge him when I have the chance. Ningyu is just ahead. Do you want me to challenge him? Liu Heng said. Bai Pingji shook his head and said, let's wait for the cold ice cave assessment. There will be plenty of chances to challenge him then. Now is not the time. Bai Pingji was not stupid. If he were to challenge Ningyu now, no matter the result, he would consume a lot of energy. His and Liu Heng's abilities were almost the same. They both wanted to fight for the top 10 in the cold ice cave assessment. Whoever consumed too much energy now would be at a disadvantage later. Don't worry. I have defeated those fire cloud leopards. They have basically lost their fighting power. In the distance, Han Feng thought for a while and said, let's not waste any more time. Let's depart now and reach the cold ice cave as soon as possible. Yes, let's depart now. Chapter 97. The icy cave was located in the depths of the magical Beast Mountain range. It was one of the examination locations for Danwu College. Every few years, a large number of young martial artists would enter the icy cave to participate in the examination. The martial artists who passed the icy cave examination would be brought to another place to participate in the next round of Danwu College's examination. Shosho. In the dense forest, dozens of figures were moving quickly. Low sounds of something breaking through the air could be heard from the crowd. These people were naturally the martial artists who were participating in the icy cave examination. However, their situation was obviously not optimistic. Damn it, these people are so daring. They actually dared to stop Danwu College's icy cave examination. A late-stage Xiantian Danwu College elder's face was gloomy as he clenched his fists and said angrily, now is not the time to talk about this. This place is very close to the icy cave. Rest for 10 minutes, then hurry up and try to reach the icy cave before nightfall. A complete Xiantian martial artist frowned slightly. Soon after, his low voice was heard by the crowd of young martial artists. Hearing this, the crowd of martial artists nodded their heads. On the way, they were surrounded by mysterious experts. If not for the elder leading them risking his life to resist, they would have been killed long ago. These young martial artists were mostly rookies who had not experienced a real battle. Even now, some martial artists still had some fear on their faces. Although the academy elder had risked his life to resist, these people were extremely cunning. They had used a secret technique to kill many black eagles, causing them to have no choice but to travel on foot. In the dense forest, under a towering tree, dozens of figures were taking a short break. Not good, everyone be on guard. Suddenly, the complete Xiantian elder stood up and released his aura. He shouted in a low voice, there are 10 martial artists to the east. The lowest cultivation is at the complete Xiantian realm and the highest is at the middle stage of the true martial realm. There are 5 martial artists to the west. The lowest cultivation is at the early stage of the true martial realm and the highest is at the middle stage of the true martial realm. Hiss. Hearing this elder's words, the crowd of martial artists sucked in a breath of cold air. With such a lineup, if they were to attack them, they would be like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. They would not be able to fight back. Not only the young martial artists participating in the assessment, but even the elders of Danwu College had grave expressions on their faces. Their hearts sank to the bottom. They only had 5 elders, 3 of whom were at the peak stage of the Xiantian realm, and 2 of whom were at the late stage of the Xiantian realm. Faced with the enemy's lineup, they would not be able to hold on for long before being defeated. At that time, the fates of these young martial artists participating in the assessment would be dictated by others. Creak. In the next moment, the sound of twigs snapping suddenly rang out in the quiet jungle. Whoosh. This soft sound was like a thunderclap, causing the expressions of the originally nervous young cultivators to change greatly, and they hurriedly stood up. At this time, a deep voice came from Feng Qiong's mouth, everyone, prepare for battle. Xiantian realm martial artists and above will take the front, and Hutian realm martial artists will stay behind. Everyone, form a semicircle. Feng Qiong's face was extremely gloomy. He was the most powerful person among them, and his cultivation level was at the carnate full circle. At this critical juncture, he had to stand at the forefront. He could not have the slightest bit of cowardice. As soon as Feng Qiong's voice fell, the 50 young martial artists moved quickly. In just a moment, they had formed a semicircle. Feng Qiong and the other 4 elders guarded the gap in the semicircle. Their pitch-black eyes kept moving as they stared straight ahead. At the end of their line of sight, several figures gradually appeared. Shosho. Following the appearance of this group of people, in another direction, 5 figures appeared in Feng Qiong's line of sight in an instant. The peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. Feeling the powerful aura of the middle-aged man, Feng Qiong realized that he would not be able to survive today. Ha ha ha, it seems that hall leader was right. I can really meet so many newbies here, and there are even a few elders of Danwu College. It seems that this trip has not been in vain. The middle-aged man laughed loudly. Suddenly, a towering aura rose, and a blood-red shadow shot out. Not good. Feeling the power of the blood-red shadow, Feng Qiong's expression changed. His hands formed a series of hand seals, and finally, he threw out a palm strike to meet the blood-red shadow head-on. Not bad, to be able to block my attack with a cultivation of Xiantian realm at 40% of my strength. You are indeed worthy of being an elder of Danwu College. After the attack, the middle-aged man seemed to be fine, but Feng Qiong was forced to take a few steps back before he could stabilize himself. With this attack, it was clear who had the upper hand. Fanji, we discovered these people first. I think you are going a bit too far, right? In the distance, a black-robed cultivator at the peak of middle stage of true martial realm said, "Do you want to declare war on us?" Ha ha, not to the extent of declaring war. Fanji smiled, but his expression immediately turned cold. He shouted in a low voice, "Old Shui, these martial artists are here to participate in the Cold Ice Caves assessment. If you have something to say it quickly." Old Shui frowned slightly and said coldly, "There are 50 young martial artists here, we will each take half," Fanji said. "As for the 5 elders of Danwu College, I will suffer a bit. Leave them to me." You are really wishful thinking." Old Shui coldly snorted and said, "Although we don't belong to the same hall, we are all from the corpse sect. I can't let you suffer a loss. How about this? I have more people on my side. Leave the 3 Xiantian realm martial artists to me and the 2 late-stage Xiantian realm martial artists to you. Old Shui, let's not fight. Let's attack together and kill them all." After thinking for a moment, Fanji said, "I heard that there is a late-stage true martial realm martial artist among the leading elders of Danwu College. If we are discovered by him, although you and I won't be afraid, it will still be troublesome." "Good." Old Devil Shui's eyes narrowed as he rose from the ground. Vigorous yuan qi surged out of his body. The tyrannical aura caused the withered leaves in the surroundings to fly away. Such an aura was not far from the late stage of the true martial realm. After he made his move, the 9 Xiantian realm martial artists behind him also stepped on the ground and pulled out their weapons. Their target was the young martial artists who had already been scattered. "Let's finish this quickly." Seeing that Old Shui and his group had taken the initiative to attack, Fanji waved his hand and flicked his finger. Suddenly, a blood-red cold light directly attacked Feng Qiong like a ghost. "Tang Kuan, I will stop them. You quickly retreat and immediately think of a way to contact Elder Han Feng. As long as we can find Elder Han Feng, we might have a chance of survival." Seeing that Fanji and his group had made their move, Feng Qiong's heart suddenly sank. He knew that today was a bad day. Chapter 98. Screech, screech. In the forest, the crisp sound of eagle hooves could be heard. Shortly after, several huge black eagles flew across the sky, heading towards the depths of the magical Beast Mountain range. There were more than 10 of these black eagles, and on their backs were many young martial artists. On the back of one of the black eagles, Ningyu closed his eyes. The spirit transformation art in his body was circulating slowly. Strands of yuan qi were guided by the spirit transformation art and slowly entered his sea of consciousness. As they got closer to the icy cave, Ningyu could feel that the surrounding yuan qi was getting thicker and thicker. Naturally, he would not waste such a great opportunity to cultivate. On the path of cultivation, one could not slack off. Dripping water could wear through a rock. The yuan qi in the whirlpools have reached the xiantian full cycle. Unless there is a fortuitous encounter, it would be impossible to split the whirlpools again in a short period of time. Feeling the state of the 4 whirlpools, Ningyu finally recovered from his cultivation and looked around. At the beginning, Ningyu and his group met the Icy Cave assessment team from Bright King City. After traveling for another 10 minutes, they met the assessment teams from other cities. After that, they would meet a new assessment team every few minutes. The mounts of these assessment teams were all late rank 3 demonic beasts, black eagles. From this, it could be seen how powerful Danwu College was. Elder Han, how much longer do we need to reach the frigid cave? Ningyu leaned towards Han Feng and asked. Hihi, the black eagles are very fast. We can reach the icy cave in about 10 minutes. With a smile, Han Feng said, this time, do you plan to participate in the Icy Cave's warrior assessment or the alchemist assessment? What's the difference? Ningyu frowned and asked doubtfully. Ningyu only knew that the Icy Cave assessment was divided into the warrior assessment and the alchemist assessment. However, he was not clear about the specific assessment method and process. Fine, I'll explain the assessment method to you. After pondering for a while, Han Feng said, the Icy Cave is just a general term. Actually, there are 2 caves in it. One is the Icy Cave and the other is the Icy Cave. The warrior test is conducted in the cold cave, and the alchemist test is conducted in the ice cave. There are many rooms in the cold cave. Participants of the fighter assessment, please enter your room. Then, we will release a demonic beast of the corresponding level according to your strength. As long as you can defeat the demonic beast, you will pass the cold ice cave assessment. It's that simple, an early Xiantian martial artist on the Black Eagle beside him asked. Simple? Han Feng looked at him and continued, the level of the demon beasts we will release will be slightly higher than yours, ranging from 1 to 3 minor levels. Hiss. Han Feng's words caused the cultivators on the Black Eagles to suck in a breath of cold air. A demonic beast that's 1 to 3 levels higher than me? Didn't that mean that his cultivation was at the early stage of the Xiantian realm, and it was highly possible for him to summon a 3rd-order late-stage demonic beast? A late-stage Tier 3 demonic beast strength was incomparably powerful, and its combat strength was comparable to a consummate Xiantian martial artist. From this, it could be seen that the Frost Cave test this time was extremely difficult. You don't have to worry too much. Not wanting to shock everyone too much, Han Feng continued, the strongest of the demonic beasts released this time is only at the early stage 3rd order. In other words, as long as you have the strength to defeat an early stage 3rd order demonic beast, you will pass the cold ice cave assessment steadily. Phew. Hearing this, the surrounding people heaved a sigh of relief, secretly feeling relieved. To be able to participate in the cold ice cave assessment, they all had trump cards on them. Furthermore, some of them had very strong trump cards. As long as they were used, they might even be able to kill a mid-stage 3rd-order demonic beast. Of course, these people were the minority. Most of them had a grave expression, secretly calculating their chances of passing the assessment. As for the alchemist assessment in the cold ice cave, the rules are much simpler. Just at this moment, Han Feng continued, there are prescribed herbs. As long as you can use the herbs to refine a 1st-grade medicinal pill, you can pass the cold ice cave assessment. That's simple. This time, the cultivators participating in the alchemist assessment revealed joyful expressions. To them, this rule was indeed very simple. Most of the cultivators who were qualified to participate in the alchemist assessment had passed the Alchemist Association's 1st-grade alchemist assessment and had a 1-star badge. Refining a 1st-grade medicinal pill, to them, was a piece of cake. How could it be so simple? If that was really the case, there would be no need for Danwu College to set up the assessment venue in the cold ice cave. Frowning, Ningyu felt that something was amiss. If the rules were really that simple, there would be no need for Danwu College to set up the assessment venue in the cold ice cave in the depths of the Magical Beast Mountain Range. After all, the depths of the Magical Beast Mountain Range were filled with dangers. There must be a reason why Danwu College spent so much money and sent out so many late-stage 3rd-order demonic beasts, the Black Eagles. Forget it, there will always be a way out. Since he could not understand, Ningyu simply did not think about it. Instead, he closed his eyes and quietly waited for the arrival of the cold ice cave. Swoosh! However, before Ningyu could close his eyes, a startling pillar of light soared into the sky from the west, bringing with it gusts of yuan power gales. Not good. Someone from Danwu College is being attacked. Seeing the huge yuan qi pillar, Han Feng's face turned gloomy. He waved his sleeve and shouted, "Leave one Xiantian complete realm elder behind. The rest, follow me." Hearing this, the other Danwu College elders on the back of the Black Eagles also had ugly expressions. However, without any hesitation, they immediately jumped off the back of the Black Eagles and rushed toward the source of the pillar of light. Someone is being attacked. Who dares to attack the people from Danwu College? Could it be a demonic beast? I'm not sure. Judging from the pillar of light, the other party is likely to be a martial artist. After Han Feng and the others rushed out, the examinees immediately burst into an uproar, discussing animatedly. Silence. The burly man at the Xiantian complete realm who was left behind exuded his aura and berated, "With Elder Han Feng taking action, I believe the rascal in the distance will be dealt with very quickly. All you need to do is to wait here obediently." Hearing the words of the Xiantian complete realm elder, the noisy crowd instantly quieted down. Most of them were Hutian to Xiantian realm martial artists. Under the pressure of the powerful aura of a Xiantian complete realm warrior, they were extremely respectful and did not even dare to breathe loudly. "I'm afraid the situation isn't optimistic." Ningyu slightly released his grade 4 soul force and his face was somewhat solemn. With his keen soul force, although he could not determine the specific situation in the distance, the general situation was not far off. In the distance, he could feel the aura of no less than 5 true martial realm martial artists. The rest were the auras of a dozen Xiantian complete realm martial artists. If he was not wrong, some teams had been ambushed, and the people who ambushed them were very strong. Elder Han should be able to deal with them. Shaking his head, Ningyu wanted to withdraw his soul force because he did not feel the aura of a late martial realm martial artist from afar. With Han Feng's late martial realm cultivation, even if he encountered 4 or 5 middle martial realm martial artists, he could still contend and even kill them. Swoosh. However, before Ningyu could withdraw his soul force, his face changed dramatically. This was because he sensed 2 martial artists rushing towards him at high speed. Chapter 99. Xiu. Xiu. However, just as Ningyu was about to warn them, 2 sharp wind-breaking sounds suddenly rang out in the quiet forest. Shua. The 2 sharp wind-breaking sounds were like thunder under the scorching sun, causing the burly elder of Danwu College to change his expression and hurriedly stand up. "Damn it! Everyone retreat!" A low voice came from the burly elder's mouth. He immediately jumped up and stood in front of the crowd. Jie, Elder Fang and Elder Shui's judgment was indeed correct. A gloomy voice came out before the person arrived. "Hehe, looks like we got lucky this time," another voice said with a chuckle. Soon, 2 figures landed on the ground. Feeling the powerful aura from the 2 figures, the burly elder's face turned serious and he shouted in a deep voice, "Who are you?" "Who are we?" The corner of the Peak Xiantian martial artist's mouth rose and he lightly said, "There's no harm in telling you. In any case, you are going to see the King of Hell. Listen carefully, we are from the Corpse Sect." "Hua." As the Peak Xiantian martial artist's voice fell, the faces of the surrounding people instantly turned cold. Some people with low cultivation even trembled and could not stand steadily. They had all heard about the terror of the Corpse Yin sect. It was a very abnormal sect. Being targeted by them, death was not the most terrifying thing. The most terrifying thing was that they would not kill you, but slowly torture you to death and even refine you into a corpse puppet. The early-stage true martial realm martial artist obviously did not want to waste time here. He waved his hand and lightly said, "Old Du, why are you talking nonsense with him? We should kill them as soon as possible and then go back to help Elder Fang and the others." Hearing this, Old Du nodded and immediately rose from the ground. He turned into a phantom and instantly appeared in front of the burly elder. Then, he raised his hand and mercilessly chopped at the burly elder's shoulder with a majestic yuan qi. "Damn it! The burly elder cursed and quickly formed a seal with his hands. Before old Du's fist could even reach him, he had already punched out. Bang! The two fists collided with each other. After a muffled sound, the tall and sturdy elder's toes touched the ground and he retreated a few steps before stabilizing his body. TSK, not bad. You aren't an embroidered pillow. With a sinister chuckle, the third poison lord charged forward once more and clashed with the burly elder. On the other side, due to the deterrence of a true martial realm early-stage martial artist, even if the examinees had a trump card, they did not dare to use it. Because their trump cards were useless in front of a true martial realm martial artist. Ka. Twisting his neck, the true martial realm martial artist lightly said, "It's been a long time since I killed so many people. Just thinking about it makes me a little excited." His gaze shifted and finally fell on Ning Xin. The true martial realm early-stage martial artist laughed sinisterly and said, "Let's start with you." As soon as the word go was uttered, the true martial realm early-stage martial artist sprang into action. He spun around and appeared in front of Ning Xin, striking out with his palm, aiming for her neck. Whoosh! Ning Xin had not expected that a true martial realm early-stage martial artist would be the first to attack her. Her jaw dropped and her face paled. Bang! However, just as the palm was about to land on Ning Xin's neck, a fist filled with raging true qi suddenly swept out. A low muffled sound rang out. The true martial realm early-stage martial artist's face changed and his body flashed, retreating backwards. "Kid, who are you?" After he stopped moving, Tai Kuei's eyes emitted a bright light as he shouted in a low voice. Tai Kuei was a little shocked. Although he had only used 20% of his strength in that attack, but that 20% of his strength was enough to kill a Xiantian middle-stage martial artist. If he was not wrong, the martial artist in front of him was at most an early Xiantian stage martial artist. To be able to block 20% of his strength with just an early Xiantian stage martial artist, he must not be a nobody. "Xin, are you alright?" Ignoring Tai Kuei's scolding, Ningyu asked. "Brother Ningyu, I'm fine." Although she said so, the fear on her face betrayed her. "What? You're Ningyu?" Suddenly, Tai Kuei's eyes widened and his face showed a look of disbelief. "Ha ha ha." But soon, Tai Kuei laughed wildly and said, "You can wear out iron shoes in fruitless searching, but you find what you're looking for without even looking for it. As long as I can capture you, the Hall Master of the Golden Corpse King will definitely reward me handsomely." "You want to capture me? That depends on whether you have the strength to do so." With a cold snort, Ningyu clenched his fist and quickly formed a seal. In the next moment, more than a dozen shadow palm prints were formed and suddenly rushed towards Tai Kuei. "Child's play." The corner of his mouth curled up and Tai Kuei punched out, bringing with it a violent gust of wind, directly towards Ningyu's palm print. Who is Ningyu? How dare he attack Tai Kuei? He is a true martial realm martial artist. Ningyu. Why does this name sound so familiar? That's right, I've seen him on the innate realm battle list. He is ranked 1000. 1000? Not to mention 1000, even if he is in the top 800, he can't be a match for a true martial realm martial artist. Seeing Ningyu take the initiative to attack, the surrounding people slightly opened their mouths, feeling somewhat incredulous. The powerful aura that Tai Kuei revealed just now made it difficult for them to breathe. Now that Ningyu actually took the initiative to attack, in their opinion, he was completely overestimating himself. Hiss hiss. Tai Kuei's fierce attack directly tore apart more than a dozen shadow palm prints, appearing in front of Ningyu in the blink of an eye. Ji Yu Ming. At the critical moment, the yuan qi in Ningyu's cyclone violently surged out and gathered on his fist, then suddenly pushed out, unable to avoid Tai Kuei's fist. Crack. In the next moment, feeling the powerful force coming from the fist, Ningyu gritted his teeth, bent his legs, and his body explosively retreated. Hee, Ningyu, don't make any more futile resistance. Although you are very strong, in front of me, you can't make any waves. After the attack, Tai Kuei did not continue to attack, but said with a faint smile. Hiss. Standing on the spot, Ningyu's eyes were filled with coldness, and his fists were clenched so tightly that cracking sounds could be heard. Through the exchange just now, Ningyu had already determined that Tai Kuei's strength was far above his. Even if he used all his trump cards, he might not be able to defeat Tai Kuei. Most importantly, Ningyu did not want to expose his trump cards here. Tai Kuei, it won't be that easy to catch me. His eyes turned, and the yuan qi in Ningyu's body slowly flowed to his ankles. Then, he suddenly stomped on the ground, and with a burst of debris, he ran wildly toward the depths of the magical beast mountain range. Trying to escape. Ningyu's actions were already within Tai Kuei's expectations. He tidied up his clothes unhurriedly and said to Du Larusan, "I'll leave this to you. I'll go after Ningyu." Then, Tai Kuei's aura suddenly erupted, and a towering aura rose, causing the surrounding warriors to retreat several steps. Chapter 100. Old Fart, your speed is quite fast. In the depths of the Magic Beast mountain range, two figures, one in front and one behind, were running at high speed. Among them, the one in front was about 20 years old. It was Ningyu. Among them, the one in front was about 20 years old. It was Ningyu. At this moment, Ningyu had a dignified expression. He looked back at Tai Kuei, who was constantly approaching him. The essence under his feet burned, and his speed once again soared. F***ck, Ningyu, you're really pissing me off. Behind Ningyu, Tai Kuei could not help but curse. His complexion was ashen. Originally, he thought he could easily catch up with Ningyu. Who would have thought that the faster he was, the faster Ningyu would be? As a result, after an hour, he still could not catch up with Ningyu. Ningyu was like a man who did not know fatigue. The essence in his body was abundant. Although it was constantly burning, his speed still did not slow down. You better pray that I don't catch up with you. Otherwise, I'll tear you apart. Cursing, Tai Kuei's essence in his sea of consciousness surged, and he instantly accelerated. I can't go on like this. Ningyu knew that although the essence in his body was abundant, Tai Kuei, who was behind him, was an early-stage true martial realm martial artist. The essence in his body was not any less than his. If this continued, he would be caught by Tai Kuei sooner or later. With a cold expression, Ningyu held the soul-breaking sword in his hand and turned around to slash. Heaven Fiend sword wave. Along with the sound of his voice, a shocking sword aura shot out, slashing towards Tai Kuei. Swish. Tai Kuei didn't expect Ningyu would turn around and launch an attack on him. For a moment, he was somewhat panicked. However, he was, after all, an early-stage true martial realm martial artist. His reaction speed was extremely fast. Before the sword aura could reach his body slightly moved to the side, and just barely dodged Ningyu's swift and fierce sword. Shio. Since his attack did not succeed, Ningyu did not continue fighting. Instead, he burned the essence under his feet and ran again. Damn it. Cursing inwardly, Tai Kuei touched the ground with the tip of his foot, and instantly swept out. Originally, when he saw Ningyu's attack, he had already stopped in his tracks and planned to face Ningyu head-on. He did not expect Ningyu to be so cunning. He did not linger after the first strike and ran away again. In this way, the distance between him and Ningyu increased. Don't ever let me catch up to you. Tai Kuei clenched his fists tightly, his expression extremely gloomy. He wished he could skin Ningyu alive. The more he chased, the angrier he became. Tai Kuei's lungs were about to explode. Every time he was about to catch up with Ningyu, Ningyu would turn around and slash his sword. Although it was not very powerful, it more or less slowed him down. At this rate, who knew when he would be able to catch up to Ningyu? No, I have to speed up. In the next moment, Tai Kuei's eyes focused, and in the next moment, all the primordial qi in his sea of consciousness swept out and gathered under his feet. His speed instantly increased to the limit. Buzz, buzz. Feeling the sound of the wind behind him, Ningyu's expression instantly became gloomy because he knew that Tai Kuei was going all out. Since he could not outrun Tai Kuei in terms of speed, Ningyu simply stopped. He injected all the primordial qi in the cyclone into the severing soul sword, and then he slashed out with the sword, bringing with it a sharp wind, attacking Tai Kuei's cheek. Teish Kenpo. At this moment, Ningyu displayed the third form of the Supreme Nine Purities sword technique, Teish Kenpo. As soon as Teish Kenpo appeared, the surrounding air seemed to be compressed and spread out. The primordial chi in the space became somewhat chaotic, and it left the area as if it was escaping. Blood-colored corpse shadow. Feeling such a sharp sword chi, Tai Kuei's pupils shrank. He did not dare to be negligent, and with a flick of his wrist, a huge blood-colored corpse shadow appeared behind him. Go! As he shouted, the blood-colored corpse shadow instantly appeared in front of him and collided with Teish Kenpo. Kai! In the next moment, Teish Kenpo suddenly slashed on Tai Kuei's blood-colored corpse shadow, and there was a burst of Kai. Immediately after, the sword wave seemed to be corroded, and it disappeared in a moment. Buzz. After Teish Kenpo disappeared, Tai Kuei's blood-colored corpse shadow did not stop. Instead, it increased its speed and rushed toward Ningyu's body. Tai Kuei's blood-colored corpse shadow is extremely powerful, and it is many times stronger than the barbarian corpse kings. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu tapped his feet on the ground, and his body quickly swept out. At the same time, he formed a seal with his wrist, and his soul power gushed out and attached to his palm. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Netherworld Fiend. A slightly hoarse voice came out of Ningyu's mouth. Then, an almost tangible palm print rushed out in the blink of an eye, and from an extremely tricky angle, it wanted to avoid the blood-colored corpse shadow and attack Tai Kuei. However, Tai Kuei was obviously prepared. He waved his sleeve, and suddenly, the blood-colored corpse shadow turned its head, and fiercely collided with Ningyu's palm. As expected, you fell for it. Get in. At the moment when the palm print and the blood-colored corpse shadow collided, Ningyu's eyes brightened, and then he controlled his soul power to quietly enter the blood-colored corpse shadow from the palm print. Ningyu, surrender. Seeing that Ningyu's palm print was shattered in an instant, the corner of Tai Kuei's mouth rose, and he said with a smile, "Now, I will let you have a taste of the blood-colored corpse shadow. Tai Kuei, it seems like it's too early for you to be happy." Soul strangulation. When Ningyu's cold voice fell, he suddenly pointed his finger, and with a loud shout, the tip of his finger glowed with a red light, and an extremely huge soul power light wave burst out. The speed of the soul power light wave was somewhat terrifying. Everywhere it passed, the space constantly trembled, and cracking sounds were incessant, which was extremely ear-piercing. Such a terrifying attack caused Tai Kuei, who was at the peak of the initial stage of real martial realm, to have a drastic change of expression, because he could feel that the strength of this soul power had reached the fourth grade. Swoosh! In midair, Tai Kuei's eyes suddenly became cold. He slightly raised his palm, and a violent yuan qi wrapped around his palm. In the blink of an eye, a trident appeared in his palm, and the black trident suddenly burst out with a dazzling light. Trident, a mid-grade earth-rank magic weapon. Trident cold light. As the shout fell, 3 light pillars, each several feet thick, shot out from the trident. The huge light pillars, as if falling from the 9th heaven, flashed and disappeared. The fierce impact almost caused Ningyu's pupils to shrink, and he could not help but take a few steps back. Boom! In the next moment, the 3 huge light pillars collided with Ningyu's soul power light wave, and brought about an ear-piercing roar, which directly cut through the sky. Soon after, a powerful shock wave spread out in all directions. The force of the shock wave seemed to want to split the space in half. Under such a strong pressure, Ningyu's face became extremely gloomy, and the huge force coming from his legs made him have the urge to kneel down. Plunder. Enduring the huge force from his legs, Ningyu shouted in a low voice. Not good. As soon as Ningyu shouted, Tai Kuei's pupils shrank, and his face became extremely ugly, 10,000 times uglier than a pig's liver, because he realized that a wisp of Ningyu's soul power had unknowingly entered his bloody corpse shadow. Chapter 101. Tai Kuei's face was ashen, and his eyes were burning with anger. He had spent a lot of effort and resources to cultivate the bloody corpse shadow. If Ningyu seized control of it, his strength would drop by at least half. Therefore, Tai Kuei would never allow the bloody corpse shadow to be seized by Ningyu. A cold glint flashed in his eyes. Tai Kuei rose from the ground and waved the trident in his hand. It brought about a violent gust of wind as it smashed directly at Ningyu's head. Ningyu, although your soul power is stronger than mine, my cultivation is higher than yours. Tai Kuei said coldly, you want to seize control of the bloody corpse shadow? Then you better be prepared to suffer my wrath. Soul-breaking sword. With a thrust, the soul-breaking sword flew through the air. In the blink of an eye, the soul-breaking sword and the trident collided. Ding! A crisp sound resounded in the area. The strong recoil from the perlicue made Ningyu's throat taste sweet, and his body was sent flying. At the same time, Tai Kuei dashed out again and appeared in front of Ningyu in the blink of an eye. The huge trident gradually grew bigger in Ningyu's eyes, and finally smashed down. Bang! At the critical moment, Ningyu quickly raised the soul-breaking sword and held it in front of his head. Although the soul-breaking sword was a heaven-grade flying sword and the trident was only a middle-grade earth-grade transcendent artifact, Tai Kuei's strength was much stronger than Ningyu's. Ningyu did not gain any advantage. Retreat. Ningyu knew that he was no match for Tai Kuei at the current stage, so he suddenly sped up and flew towards the depths of the Magic Beast mountain range. Originally, he wanted to seize control of the bloody shadow while Tai Kuei was being careless. Now, it seemed that his plan had failed, so he could only run away. However, it would be impossible for Tai Kuei to completely expel the soul force he had left in the blood-colored corpse shadow without expending some effort. Ningyu, you can't run away. With a thought, Tai Kuei recalled the blood-colored corpse shadow and chased after Ningyu. Whoosh! Not long after, Ningyu seemed to have hit a barrier, and his body bounced back. Restriction. Forcefully stabilizing his body in the air, he sent out his soul power. Sensing a barrier in front of him, Ningyu's heart sank to the bottom. When Ningyu stopped, Tai Kuei had already caught up to him. Run! Why don't you run? Seeing Ningyu standing still, Tai Kuei slightly raised the corner of his mouth and said with a sinister smile, to tell you the truth, inside is the forbidden area of the Magic Beast mountain range. Hearing Tai Kuei's words, coldness emerged in Ningyu's eyes. He had some understanding of the forbidden area of the Magic Beast mountain range. He knew that it was the habitat of rank 4 and above demonic beasts. A rank 4 demonic beast was equivalent to a true martial realm martial artist. One rank 4 demonic beast might not be as strong as Tai Kuei, but what about 2? What about 3? How many? The inside of the forbidden area was much more dangerous than the outside. Martial artists who had not reached the peak of the true martial realm would not dare to step inside. Ningyu, I will give you one last chance. Since he was sure that Ningyu had nowhere to run, Tai Kuei slightly relaxed. The corner of his mouth raised and he said indifferently, destroy your own cultivation, kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times. Maybe if I am happy, I will spare your dog life. Tai Kuei, you want me to kneel down to you? Have you lost your mind and turned into a stupid dog? Ningyu showed an exaggerated expression. Hearing this, Tai Kuei's face turned completely gloomy. He was so angry that his teeth itched. Since you are courting death, don't blame me. His eyes flashed. At this moment, Tai Kuei completely revealed the aura of the early stage of the true martial realm and suppressed Ningyu. Shio. However, just as Tai Kuei displayed his powerful aura, his eyes widened and revealed an expression of disbelief. Because Ningyu's legs pushed off the ground and he turned into a blur, rushing straight into the forbidden area, Poochie. Just as he was about to reach the barrier, Ningyu's 4th-grade soul force poured out and fiercely bombarded the barrier. Under the tearing of the 4th-grade soul force, a gap was instantly torn open in the barrier. Seizing the opportunity, Ningyu's body swept out and instantly rushed into the gap. Shosho. Just as Ningyu rushed into the forbidden area, the gap closed. Damn it. Seeing that Ningyu had disappeared, Tai Kuei could not help but curse. Although he could also tear a gap in the barrier, he did not dare to do so, nor did he dare to enter the forbidden area. He knew that with his strength, it would be difficult to move an inch in the forbidden area. There are many 4th-grade monsters in the forbidden area, and there are even 5th-grade monsters. Tai Kuei's eyes flickered. Even if Ningyu only stayed in the periphery of the forbidden area, it is impossible for him to survive. I'll wait here. I don't believe that he won't come out. With a cold expression, Tai Kuei sat down with his legs crossed and chose to wait here. In his opinion, Ningyu would not dare to go deeper into the forbidden area and would only stay in the periphery. Once he encountered a 4th grade monster, Ningyu would definitely go back the way he came. Moreover, he could also use this time to expel Ningyu's soul force from the Bloody Corpse shadow and completely control the Bloody Corpse shadow. At that time, so long as he encountered Ningyu again, he would be able to wait at ease for Ningyu to be exhausted, and he would be able to kill Ningyu effortlessly. Bang! As soon as he entered the forbidden area, Ningyu felt his body sink and he fell heavily on the ground. The gravity here is at least 3 times that of the outside world. Circulating the spirit transformation method slowly, primordial chi gushed out of the cyclone and flowed throughout his body. After a while, Ningyu got used to the gravity in the forbidden area. This is not a place to stay for long. I have to go deeper. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu made a decision and continued to go deeper into the forbidden area. With Tai Kuei's strength, it would be very easy for him to break through the barrier. The reason why Tai Kuei had not come in until now was definitely because he was afraid and wanted to wait for him to go out. As time passed, Tai Kuei would definitely not be able to endure it and enter the forbidden area. By then, it would be very dangerous for him to stay here. Ningyu was not an indecisive person. He immediately released his soul force and lifted his heavy footsteps, walking slowly into the forbidden area. Ningyu walked very slowly and did not dare to speed up. After all, the forbidden area was full of dangers. If he was not careful, he would die. Roar! Roar! However, Ningyu had only taken a few steps when he heard several earth-shattering roars. He hurriedly stopped and concealed his aura. At least a late-stage Tier 4 demonic beast. From the aura, Ningyu could determine that the owner of the roars had at least a late-stage Tier 4 cultivation. A late-stage Tier 4 demonic beast's battle prowess was comparable to a peak true martial realm martial artist. Bang! Suddenly, a low muffled sound came from right in front of Ningyu. Then, one in front and one behind, 2 huge figures rushed out from the bushes. Late-stage Tier 4 Wind Thunder Rhinoceros, Armored Dragon Turtle. The cultivation of the 2 battling demonic beasts had both reached late-stage Tier 4. Although the Wind Thunder Rhinoceros and Armored Dragon Turtle were only late-stage Tier 4 demonic beasts, their combined strength was extremely powerful and could even contend with an Origin Core realm martial artist. A fight of this level was simply not something that Ningyu could hope to achieve. Chapter 102. Roar. With a loud roar, the Tempest Rhinoceros stomped on the ground and charged towards the Armored Dragon Tortoise with its massive body. Facing the Tempest Rhinoceros, the Armored Dragon Tortoise showed no fear. It retracted its limbs into its shell and charged towards the Tempest Rhinoceros. Bang! The two collided. Although the Armored Dragon Tortoise was small, its defense was shocking. After the attack, it charged forward again like nothing had happened. The Armored Dragon Tortoise is not only fast, but also has a strong defense. Ningyu laid on the ground and observed the 2 demonic beasts from afar. Although the Tempest Rhinoceros is huge, its speed is a little slow. If we continue to fight, the Tempest Rhinoceros will definitely lose. Boom! At this moment, the Tempest Rhinoceros roared towards the sky and spat out a purple flame. The purple flame was extremely fast and appeared in front of the Armored Dragon Tortoise in an instant. Facing the purple flame, the Armored Dragon Tortoise retracted its limbs into its shell and retracted its head. You can burn all you want, I will not budge. Tempest Fire. Seeing the purple flame, Ningyu was elated. Although the Tempest Fire was far from his demonic lotus flame, it was still an excellent flame for refining elixirs. With the Tempest Fire, he would save a lot of effort when refining elixirs in the future. Forcefully suppressing the heat in his heart, Ningyu knew that to obtain the Tempest Fire from the Tempest Rhinoceros was harder than ascending to the heavens at his current stay. I didn't expect this Tempest Rhinoceros to have the Tempest Fire in its body. If this continues, who knows who will win? Ningyu muttered. As the Tempest Fire continued to burn, the Armored Dragon Tortoise's shell gradually changed color, turning from green to black. Shio. Finally, the Armored Dragon Tortoise could not take it anymore. Its 5 limbs shot out from its shell and charged towards the tempest rhinoceros. Rip! The armored dragon tortoise was extremely fast. Before the tempest rhinoceros could react, it had already reached it and ripped off a piece of meat from its abdomen. Raw. Its abdomen was the weakest part of the tempest rhinoceros. When a piece of flesh was torn off, it immediately let out a heart-wrenching roar. The armored dragon tortoise tasted the sweetness of its sneak attack and charged at the tempest rhinoceros once more. This time, the tempest rhinoceros was clearly prepared. Before the armored dragon turtle could reach it, it used its sharp horns to stab the armored dragon turtle's head. Poochie. The armored dragon tortoise clearly hadn't expected the tempest rhinoceros to make such a move. It was caught off guard for a moment, and the tempest rhinoceros' sharp horn pierced its head, causing its body to fall straight to the ground. However, the moment the armored dragon turtle's head was pierced, a small turtle shell suddenly sprang out from its back and fiercely smashed towards the tempest rhinoceros' horn. Crack! The small tortoise shell was extremely hard. The huge force directly snapped the wind thunder rhinoceros horn. With its horn broken, the tempest rhinoceros roared and charged at the armored dragon turtle with all its might. It wanted to crush the armored dragon turtle. I didn't expect the battle to be so intense. Far away, Ningyu could not conceal the fervent look in his eyes. Originally, he thought that the tempest rhinoceros and the armored dragon turtle would fight for 300 rounds. Who knew that the situation would suddenly change? After just one move, the two of them suffered heavy injuries at the same time. If the intense battle carried on like this, there would only be one final outcome: the tempest rhinoceros and the armored dragon turtle both died in battle. And this outcome was clearly what Ningyu was looking forward to. Even so, Ningyu still did not dare to move, fearful of being discovered by the tempest rhinoceros and the armored dragon turtle. Although the tempest rhinoceros and the armored dragon turtle's combat strength decreased significantly and they suffered heavy injuries, Ningyu was still not their match. At this time, a little carelessness and he would land himself in a dangerous situation. After being injured, the tempest rhinoceros and the armored dragon turtle fought even more fiercely. Crack! Roughly 2 hours later, the tempest rhinoceros' massive body crushed heavily on the armored dragon turtle's body, crushing it into pieces. Bang! At the same time, the tempest rhinoceros was also exhausted, its body falling straight back. An hour after the battle ended, Ningyu slightly released his soul power and approached the battlefield. After confirming that the tempest rhinoceros and the armored dragon turtle were dead, Ningyu carefully appeared from his hiding place and walked towards them. Hiss! To think that the armored dragon turtle with such a tough shell would also be crushed into pieces. Seeing the armored dragon turtle's miserable state, Ningyu sucked in a breath of cold air. Actually, Ningyu was also a little puzzled. Because the armored dragon turtle was known to have invincible defense, why would its shell be crushed into pieces? So that's how it is. Picking up a piece of the armored dragon turtle's shell, Ningyu finally understood when he felt the traces of energy contained in it. The tempest rhinoceros's seemingly normal pressure actually used up all the energy in its body. Otherwise, it wouldn't have died so tragically after a single strike. I got lucky. With the two of them dying in battle, Ningyu picked up a big bargain. Let's put it in the storage ring first. Ningyu slightly released his soul power and wrapped the tempest rhinoceros's body, then put it in the storage ring. Luckily the storage ring was big enough, otherwise it wouldn't be able to contain the tempest rhinoceros. When I leave the Magic Beast mountain range, I must refine the 4th grade Tempest Pill and then devour the Tempest Fire. The reason why Ningyu didn't devour the Tempest Fire here was because the Tempest Fire was extremely overbearing. If he wanted to devour it, he would have to take the Tempest Pill. Right now, Ningyu didn't have the ingredients to refine the Tempest Pill. Helplessly, he could only forcefully suppress the urge to devour the Tempest Fire. Although the armored dragon turtle was crushed to pieces, and even its inner core had disappeared, Ningyu still put its shattered shell into the storage ring. The armored dragon turtle's shell was extremely hard. Perhaps it would be useful in the future. Tempest Bull Horn, small turtle shell. Ningyu's eyes lit up as he quickly picked up the bull horn and turtle shell. The Tempest Bull Horn was extremely precious. If he brought it to the auction house, It would sell for a good price. As for the palm-sized turtle shell in his hand, Ningyu didn't plan to sell it. After all, it was something that could cut off the Tempest Bull horn. If he kept it on him, it might save his life. Thus, Ningyu put the Tempest Bull horn into the storage ring. The small turtle shell was kept close to his body, where his heart was. Oh right, the Tempest Rhinoceros and the Armored Dragon Turtle are late-stage 4th-tier demonic beasts. They wouldn't start fighting for no reason. It must be because of something. Suddenly, Ningyu seemed to have thought of something. He moved his feet and carefully walked towards the bushes in front. The Armored Dragon Turtle and the Tempest Rhinoceros were evenly matched in strength. If it wasn't for fighting over something, they definitely wouldn't fight to the death. Something that could make a late-stage 4th-tier demonic beast fight to the death must be something extraordinary. Standing outside the bushes, Ningyu raised his brows and quietly released his 4th-grade soul force. Azure Sun Tree? Feeling the faint aura from the bushes, Ningyu was stunned at first. Then, his expression changed slightly. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu pushed the bushes aside. Looking at the green tree in the center that was taller than a person, his face was burning with passion. Chapter 103. On the green tree hung 3 fruits the size of goose eggs. They were white with a hint of red, extremely alluring. Qingyang fruit. Ningyu's mouth was slightly agape, and he did not bother to hide the heat on his face. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu extended his soul power and wrapped it around his palm. Then, he carefully plucked the 3 Qingyang fruits and placed them into his storage ring. No wonder the Wind Thunder Rhino and the Armored Dragon Turtle would fight to the death. So it's because of the Qingyang fruit. The Qingyang fruit was extremely precious. Not only could it increase one's cultivation, it could also increase the physical strength of a cultivator. Sensing the aura of the Qingyang fruit in his storage ring, Ningyu was ecstatic. Such a precious elixir could not be found even in the capital, let alone in Tianqian City. If he could refine 3 Qingyang fruits, wouldn't it be easy for him to break through to Middle Xiantian Realm or even Late Xiantian Realm? He might even have the chance to reach Xiantian full cycle. Forcefully suppressing the heat in his heart, Ningyu was not in a hurry to consume the Qingyang fruit. Instead, he quickly left the area. The battle between the Wind Thunder Rhino and the Armored Dragon Turtle would definitely attract powerful demonic beasts. This was not a place to stay for long. Moreover, it wasn't so easy to consume the Emerald Sun fruit. The slightest carelessness would cause the situation of his body exploding, so Ningyu had to find a quiet place to properly refine the Emerald Sun fruit. Swoosh! Yuan wrapped around his legs, Ningyu slightly increased his speed and walked towards the inner part of the forbidden area. Roar! Not long after, an earth-shattering roar was heard. Hearing this roar, Ningyu could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. If he had not walked fast enough, he would have been surrounded by demonic beasts. After walking for about 10 minutes, Ningyu finally stopped beside a huge rock. After observing his surroundings for a while and confirming that it was safe, Ningyu took out a Qingyang fruit. After that, Ningyu swallowed the green sun fruit and began to refine it. Although the energy contained in the azure sun fruit was extremely huge, Ningyu had already cultivated the spirit transformation technique to the 3rd level, so his absorption and refining speed was extremely fast, and he avoided the situation of his body exploding. Buzz! A strand of white essence was emitted from the surface of his skin. Ningyu's body floated in mid-air, greedily absorbing the surging essence energy. 2 whole days passed before Ningyu completely refined the azure young fruit. Pa! At this moment, a muffled sound rang out from within Ningyu's sea of consciousness. Immediately, the 4 cyclones began to rapidly expand. Seeing this, Ningyu's face turned cold, and he took out another azure sun fruit and swallowed it. As soon as the azure sun fruit entered his stomach, strands of yuan qi were guided by the spirit transformation technique and quietly entered the energy whirlpool. Not long after, the 1st cyclone was filled. Following that, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th cyclones were also filled with boundless energy. Crack! Immediately, a crisp sound rang out, and Ningyu's face lit up with joy. Innate middle stage. Having reached the innate middle stage, The capacity of the Yuan Qi in Ningyu's cyclone had increased by several times again. The azure young fruit is indeed a good thing. Not only has it raised my cultivation to the innate middle stage, but even the cyclone has expanded by a lot. Feeling the density of the Yuan Qi in the cyclone, Ningyu was in a good mood. Now, the strength of the Yuan Qi that his cyclone could contain was already comparable to a martial artist half a step into the true martial realm. In other words, the total amount of Yuan Qi in his body was comparable to that of 4 martial artists half a step into the true martial realm. Ningyu did not intend to refine the last azure young fruit. In his current state, even if he refined the azure young fruit, it would still be impossible for him to break through to the innate late stage. Instead, it would cause the Yuan Qi in the cyclone to be a little restless and unstable. Standing up with a swoosh, Ningyu's eyes revealed a gloomy look. Now that my strength has increased by several times, if I meet Tai Kuei again, I can completely contend against him, and even kill him. Swoosh. At this moment, a cold light flew over from afar, smashing straight at Ningyu's head. Not good. Ningyu's expression changed, and he circulated the Yuan Qi in his body to his legs. His feet stepped on the ground, and in an instant, he dodged to the side. Ha ha ha, Ningyu, looks like you really don't dare to go deep into the forbidden area. A wild laughter rang out. Then, Tai Kuei's body appeared in the air in front of Ningyu. Tai Kuei. Clenching his fists tightly, Ningyu dashed out in the blink of an eye. The Yuan Qi in the cyclone gathered on his wrists, and he threw a few punches in succession. Bang bang. In an instant, Ningyu and Tai Kuei exchanged more than 30 blows. Then, Tai Kuei forcibly put some distance between him and Ningyu. He looked at Ningyu in disbelief, and said in a low voice, "How did you become so strong?" At this moment, Tai Kuei's expression was extremely gloomy, as if he had eaten tea. 2 days ago, Ningyu's strength was far inferior to his, but now, Ningyu had the ability to contend with him. Blood-colored corpse shadow. With a cold look in his eyes, Tai Kuei formed a seal with both hands, and immediately, the blood-colored corpse shadow appeared behind him. Go! As Tai Kuei shouted, the blood-colored corpse shadow streaked across the void at an extremely shocking speed, and instantly appeared in front of Ningyu. Then, in front of Ningyu's eyes, the blood-colored corpse shadow continued to expand, and finally smashed down. Teish Kenpo. Seeing that Tai Kuei had summoned the blood-colored corpse shadow, Ningyu flipped his wrist, and the soul-severing sword appeared in his hand. The primordial qi in the 2 cyclones surged out and poured into the soul-severing sword. Then, with a point of the sword, a shocking sword gleam shot out from the soul-severing sword. Kai Kai. The sword gleam, which contained majestic primordial qi, seemed to have entered an unstoppable state. It avoided the blood-colored corpse shadow, and pierced toward the space between Tai Kuei's eyebrows. Tai Kuei's expression changed drastically, and he immediately retreated. However, he was obviously half a beat too late. Bang! The tip of the sword gleam hit the space between Tai Kuei's eyebrows. His vision turned black, and a strong sense of dizziness came from Tai Kuei's head. Swoosh! After his successful attack, Ningyu did not stop. Instead, he swung his sword again. Kai! The soul-severing sword gradually expanded in front of Tai Kuei's eyes. Finally, it slashed at his throat, leaving behind a line of blood. With a bang, Tai Kuei fell heavily to the ground. His eyes were wide open, and there was still a look of disbelief at the corner of his eyes. Looking at Tai Kuei's corpse, Ningyu said indifferently, "Since you want to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed." With a thought, Ningyu separated a wisp of soul force and entered Tai Kuei's blood-colored corpse shadow. Originally, after Tai Kuei died in battle, the blood-colored corpse shadow would dissipate. However, the wisp of soul force that Ningyu left in the blood-colored corpse shadow 2 days ago allowed the blood-colored corpse shadow to retain some vitality and did not dissipate. This was actually an advantage for Ningyu. Not long after, he completely controlled the blood-colored corpse shadow. The blood-colored corpse shadow was equivalent to Tai Kuei's second avatar. Its combat strength was comparable to an early-stage true martial realm martial artist. Now that it was controlled by Ningyu, it meant that Ningyu now had an early-stage true martial realm fighter. Of course, This fighter could not be easily exposed. Otherwise, there would be endless troubles and people would think that he was a member of the Corpse Yin sect. Chapter 104. Tai Kuei was a true martial realm expert of the Corpse sect. Originally, Ningyu thought that he would have a lot of magic treasures and dans on him, but who would have thought that he would only find a mid-grade Earthstep magic treasure, the trident. Apart from the trident, not even a shadow of a pill could be seen. Pursing his lips, Ningyu lightly said, "So he is a true martial realm martial artist, but he is so poor." If Tai Kuei heard Ningyu's words, it was estimated that he would not be able to live in peace even if he died. The reason why he did not have any magic treasures or dans on him was because he had used almost all his resources to cultivate the bloody corpse shadow, causing him to be even poorer than a dog. Now that the bloody corpse shadow and the trident had been obtained by Ningyu, Ningyu actually said that he was poor. Even if he died, he would not be able to reason with him. Ding. However, just when Ningyu was about to leave, a crisp sound rang out. Stopping, Ningyu looked back and saw a token fall from Tai Kuei's body. Corpse token? Seeing the blood-colored token on the ground, Ningyu raised his eyebrows and picked it up. In the corpse sect, only the elders could have the corpse token. Tai Kuei was at the early stage of the true martial realm, so it was not a big deal for him to have the corpse token. After thinking about it, Ningyu put the corpse token into his storage ring. Maybe it would be useful in the future. I must leave the forbidden area and return as soon as possible. In order to avoid Tai Kuei's pursuit, Ningyu had been hiding in the forbidden area for 2 days. Now that he had finally killed Tai Kuei, there was no need for him to stay here. After all, the forbidden area of the magical beast mountain range was full of dangers. A little carelessness could lead to eternal damnation. Shaking his head, Ningyu carefully walked out of the forbidden area. Just as he took 2 steps forward, a turbulent wave swept over from afar. So terrifying. Feeling the abnormally powerful yuan qi fluctuation, Ningyu involuntarily took a few steps back. Roar. Right at this moment, an enormous roar that resounded through the heavens and the earth suddenly spread out from afar. After that, a terrifying origin energy pressure suddenly swept out, and it caused the heavens and the earth to change color. A 4-eyed golden crystal beast with wings on its back. Ningyu's eyes stared in shock at the enormous creature in the sky. Although he could not clearly see its silhouette, its enormous size had already caused him to be stunned. This yuan qi fluctuation, with his mouth slightly agape, Ningyu swallowed a mouthful of saliva. This degree of yuan qi pressure was something that even a yuan dan stage expert would not be able to match. Shio. Suddenly, the sound of something tearing through the air rang out. If you want to leave mysterious Qianxian City, you have to defeat me. The huge 4-eyed golden crystal beast looked at the void and actually spoke the human language. In the distant void, a middle-aged man was floating in mid-air. The man held a silvery white flying sword in his hand as he stared coldly at the 4-eyed golden crystal beast. "Father!" Ningyu exclaimed. His pupils shrank as he stared intently at the figure in the void. Why is he here? He actually has this kind of strength. In mid-air, Ninghai cupped his fists and said in a low voice, "Senior golden crystal beast, this time I must leave mysterious Qianxian City. Miss Mu told me that you can leave when you can defeat me," the 4-eyed golden crystal beast said in a low voice as it slightly revealed its aura. "If that's the case, then let's fight." Ninghai's eyes turned cold as he tightly gripped the silvery white flying sword and rushed toward the 4-eyed golden crystal beast. The sword light was like a rainbow, and it even cut through the void. This sword. Ningyu's pupils shrank slightly as he stared at the sword light that Ninghai displayed. He muttered, "Why does it feel like the Supreme 9 Purities sword art?" "Ninghai, no wonder you want to leave mysterious Qianxian City. It turns out that you have already cultivated the Supreme 9 Purities sword art to this level. However, it won't be that easy to defeat me." Seeing the sharp sword light coming toward it, the 4-eyed golden crystal beast's figure flashed, and it flapped its wings. Suddenly, a strong wind appeared, attacking the sword light. Rumble. The strong wind that the 4-eyed golden crystal beast stirred up directly swallowed the sword light that Ninghai had launched, and the aftermath spread out in all directions. Crack. Crack. With the space as the center of the collision as the center, the giant trees in the surroundings snapped at their trunks. Some rank 4 and rank 5 demonic beasts hiding in the surroundings flew out of the forbidden area. Senior Golden Crystal Beast, I didn't expect that you have already reached the middle stage of rank 6. Ning Hai's eyes narrowed as he slashed his sword again. Buzz. This sword vibrated at a terrifying frequency, and it even resonated with the void. In the blink of an eye, it appeared in front of the four-eyed golden crystal beast. Then, it stabbed toward the four-eyed golden crystal beast's abdomen. The Supreme Nine Purities Sword ART's 6th level's ultimate realm. This time, the four-eyed golden crystal beast was finally moved. It flapped its wings continuously, and it disappeared in a flash. Whoosh. However, as soon as the four-eyed golden crystal beast disappeared, Ningyu pointed out with his sword and slashed it out of the void. Whoosh. Ning Hai did not relax because his attack had succeeded. Instead, his entire body's primordial chi surged, and he injected it into the silver-white flying sword. Whoosh. 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 Countless sword lights converged in the air, and finally, under Ningyu's shocked gaze, they suddenly formed a giant phantom of a silver-white flying sword. In the next moment, the space beside the four-eyed golden crystal beast exploded, and the phantom flying sword appeared. It suddenly stabbed out, accurately piercing the four-eyed golden crystal beast's abdomen. Whoosh. The abdomen was the four-eyed golden crystal beast's weakest spot. Now that it had been pierced by such a sharp phantom flying sword, the four-eyed golden crystal beast suddenly felt its vision go black, and its huge body fell heavily to the ground. Father's cultivation level has probably reached the yin-yang stage. Ningyu's heart trembled slightly. From the strong primordial chi that Ning Hai had emitted, he could tell that Ning Hai had broken through the primal core limit and reached the yin-yang stage, which allowed him to slightly control space. Senior Golden Crystal Beast, I'm sorry. Landing in front of the four-eyed golden crystal beast, Ning Hai cupped his fists and said in a low voice, "It's been 18 years. I've endured 18 years of torture. Now that Yu is an adult, I can't stay in Tianqian City any longer." Ning Hai, Miss Mu is right. You are a very stubborn person. The four-eyed golden crystal beast retracted its wings, and its body shrank significantly. I promised her that one day, I would go to the Supreme Nine Purities Temple to bring her back. Taking a deep breath, Ning Hai said slowly, I've already made her wait for 18 years. I won't make her wait for too long. The current Palace Lord of the Supreme Nine Purities Temple has already reached the creation stage. Before his cultivation reaches the supremacy stage, it's best that you don't go to the Supreme Nine Purities Temple, the four-eyed golden crystal beast said. Since you've defeated me, it means that I've fulfilled my promise. There's no need for me to stay here anymore. As it spoke, the four-eyed golden crystal beast spread its wings, intending to leave the forbidden area. Senior Golden Crystal Beast, I would like to ask a favor of you, Ning Hai said hurriedly when he saw that the four-eyed golden crystal beast was about to leave. What is it? Chapter 105. Got it. Glancing at Ning Hai, the four-eyed golden crystal beast flapped its wings, tore open the barrier of the forbidden area, and flew out. Xiaoshan, wait for me. I will come to pick you up. Clenching his fists, Ning Hai's eyes revealed a determined look. He suddenly stomped on the ground, turned into a shadow, and rushed into the forbidden area. A long time after Ning Hai and the others left, Ningyu recovered from the shock. It turned out that Ning Hai was so strong. No wonder he could casually kill the true martial realm warriors of the assassination pavilion. Why did father go deep into the forbidden area? Is there some secret in there? Ningyu was a little confused. Normally, after defeating the four-eyed golden crystal beast, his father should have returned to Tianqian City, but now it seemed that his father did not do so. Forget it, I should go back as soon as possible. Maybe I can meet Elder Han. After thinking about it, Ningyu did not want to stay here any longer. Instead, he retreated to the edge of the forbidden area. Unleashing his fourth-grade soul force, he tore a hole in the barrier. His silhouette flashed and he left the forbidden area. After leaving the forbidden area, Ningyu pushed his speed to the limit and rushed toward the place where he met Tai Kuei. Swoosh! Because his cultivation had advanced to the middle stage of the Xiantian realm, the Yuan Qi in his cyclone was much denser, causing his speed to be more than twice as fast as before. Not long after, Ningyu returned to the place where he was attacked. Did Elder Han defeat the people of the corpse sect? Ningyu slightly frowned. The surrounding trees were broken, and the ground was full of holes. Obviously, there had been a big battle. The reason why Ningyu judged that the people of the corpse sect were defeated was because there were several corpses of the experts of the corpse sect lying on the ground. There were no corpses of the students of Danwu College or those who participated in the assessment. Obviously, the people of the corpse sect were defeated. If I go to the ice cave now, maybe I can make it in time for the assessment. Oh, damn, I don't even know the exact location of the ice cave. Just as Ningyu was about to leave, he was dumbfounded and did not know whether to laugh or cry. Because he didn't know where the frost cave was. Holy crap, after all this time, I don't even know where the frost cave is. With a bitter smile, Ningyu said, now, we can only return to Tianqian City. Since he did not know where the icy cave was, Ningyu could only make a helpless decision to return to Profound Heaven City. Ningyu was speechless at this situation, but he didn't stay here for long. Instead, he began to fly towards the outskirts of the mountain range of magical beasts. Tianqian City, Ning family. In the meeting hall, Ninghe sat at the head of the table and slowly glanced at the experts of the Ning family. He said in a low voice, the Lin family has launched a strong offensive against the Ning family. Everyone, tell me what we should do. Fuck him, motherf***ka. An elder of the Ning family, who was at the early stage of the Xiantian realm, stood up and roared, Old Patriarch, please give the order. I will bring my men to flatten the Lin family. Elder Cao, don't be impulsive. Another short elder said, Lin Zhen's cultivation has reached the complete Xiantian realm and Lin Jingtian has broken through to the middle stage of the true martial realm. If we fight them head-on, we will die. Ju Hong, what do you think we should do? Don't tell me we should wait for Lin Zhen to ride on our head. Elder Cao said furiously. The two of you should speak less. At this time, we should be even more united. Ning Tang said in a low voice, I believe that the patriarch will return soon. At that time, our Ning family will be saved. That's right, Ning Tang, where did the patriarch go? Now that the Ning family is in danger, why hasn't he returned? Elder Cao said with a frown. Patriarch. However, before Ning Tang could finish his sentence, a voice rang out in the sky above the Ning family. Ninghe, you old man, come out and die. Hearing this voice, Ninghe's palm brushed past the teacup on the table and suddenly exerted force. With a crack, the cup was crushed. Then, Ninghe rose from the ground and left the meeting hall. Ha ha ha, Ninghe, it seems that you have also heard the news. As the laughter faded, the clear sky suddenly fluctuated. Then, a large number of figures quickly appeared and landed in front of the gate of the Ning family. Ninghe's face was gloomy as he looked at the group of people that suddenly appeared. His eyes slowly stopped on an old man. At that moment, Ninghe snorted and said in a low voice, I was wondering who it was. So it's a defeated opponent. Ha ha. Ninghe, you old fogey. Back then, when you passed the cold ice cave test and successfully entered the Danwu Academy to cultivate, I thought that the gap between us would only get bigger and bigger. Who would have thought that not long after entering the Danwu Academy, you were expelled? With a slight smile, Lin Jingtian's lips curled into a smile as he said, now that I have advanced to the middle stage of the true martial realm, you are still half a step into the true martial realm. The gap between us is as wide as the heavens. Ninghe, where is your son Ninghai? Did he run away at the last minute? Next to him, Lin Zhen said with a sinister smile, originally, I wanted to exchange some pointers with him. Now, it seems that there is no chance. Swoosh. Swoosh. At this moment, two more figures appeared from afar and finally landed in front of the Ning family gate. Swoosh. Seeing the two figures appear again, Ninghe's heart suddenly sank to the bottom. He originally thought that it was the Lin family who attacked the Ning family. Now, it seemed that the other two families in Tianqian City, the Zhao family and the Wangs, also wanted a share of the pie. Lin Zhen, we have removed all the Ning family's strongholds in other places in Tianqian City, Wang Qinian said with a smile. Now, the Ning family only has this tortoise nest left. Next to him, Zhao Lai said gloomily. Zhao Lai, Wang Qinian. Clenching his fists tightly, Ning Tang shouted in a low voice. Hearing Ning Tang's voice, Wang Qinian raised his eyebrows. He immediately rose from the ground and appeared in front of Ning Tang in the blink of an eye. He threw out a punch, bringing with it a swift and fierce yuan qi gale, and slammed it hard on Ning Tang's chest. Bang! The huge recoil caused Ning Tang's body to retreat several feet before he could dissipate the force. Xiantian full circle. Both of you have also advanced to Xiantian full circle. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Ning Tang endured the huge pain coming from his chest. His face was full of disbelief. At this moment, Ning Tang's heart was on the verge of collapsing. Back at the Tianqian Square, Wang Qinian and Zhao Lai were only at the advanced Xiantian stage. In just a few days, they had advanced to Xiantian full circle. Such a speed of advancement was really shocking. After throwing out a punch, Wang Qinian did not continue to attack. Instead, he twisted his neck and said, "The feeling of bullying the weak is really enjoyable." Swish. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Qinian's body dashed out like lightning and instantly appeared in front of Ning Tang. Then, he clenched his fist and an extremely tyrannical yuan qi burst out. Seeing that Wang Qinian had made his move, Zhao Lai and Lin Zhen's figures flashed and they dashed towards the Ning family elder. Next to them, Lin Jingtian's lips curved into a sinister smile. He took a step forward and the aura of the middle stage of the true martial realm was instantly revealed. His cold voice echoed throughout the entire Tianqian city. Chapter 106. In a room in a small town, a figure sat cross-legged. In front of him, a small alchemy cauldron floated in the air. If Lin Zhen and the rest were here, they would definitely recognize this figure as Ning Yu. After leaving the Magic Beast mountain range, Ning Yu came to a small town and bought the medicinal ingredients needed to concoct the Wind Thunder pill. Go! With a low shout, Ning Yu placed all the medicinal ingredients into the alchemy cauldron. Then, yuan qi wrapped around his finger. With a point of his finger, traces of flames started burning at the bottom of the alchemy cauldron. Under the control of Ning Yu's soul power, the yuan qi turned into flames at an extremely fast speed. Although the Wind Thunder pill was a peak 3rd grade pill, Ning Yu's soul power had already reached the 4th grade. His cultivation had also broken through the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. Therefore, the process of concocting the Wind Thunder pill was extremely stable. Rise. After about an hour, Ning Yu shouted and patted the alchemy cauldron. Immediately, a round pill flew out. Pa. Grabbing the pill, Ning Yu's face lit up. With the Wind Thunder pill, I can devour the Wind Thunder fire. The Wind Thunder fire was not only helpful in concocting pills, but it could also be used to fight enemies. Even the sturdy shell of the armored dragon turtle was burnt to pieces by the Wind Thunder fire. Although the Wind Thunder rhino had used the energy in its body, it was undeniable that the Wind Thunder fire was powerful. Shua. With a wave of his soul power, the Wind Thunder rhino appeared in the room. The Wind Thunder rhino was huge. If it wasn't for the fact that the room Ning Yu had opened was big enough, it would not have been able to contain the Wind Thunder rhino's body. Ning Yu stabbed out with his sword and cut open the Wind Thunder rhino's abdomen. Shio. Immediately, a flame shot out from the Wind Thunder rhino's abdomen. Wind Thunder fire. With a low shout, Ning Yu's soul power gushed out crazily and wrapped around the Wind Thunder fire. Kai Kai. The moment the soul power came into contact with the Wind Thunder fire, a hissing sound was heard. Under Ning Yu's control, the soul power drilled into his sea of consciousness. Get in. Gritting his teeth, Ning Yu used his powerful soul power to force the wind, thunder, and fire into a cyclone. Hiss. As soon as the wind, thunder, and fire entered the cyclone, they roared and wanted to devour the vital energy. Wind Thunder pill. After swallowing the Wind Thunder pill, Ning Yu controlled the medicinal power to enter the cyclone. Originally, the Wind Lightning fire was devouring yuan qi, but as the Wind Lightning pill's medicinal power flowed into the cyclone, It seemed to be suppressed and actually became quiet. Ning Yu didn't dare to relax. His mental state was still tense, and his powerful soul continued to suppress the wind, thunder, and fire. After approximately 10 minutes, Ning Yu slowly withdrew his soul force from his sea of consciousness after confirming that there were no problems with the wind, thunder, and fire. Ning Yu opened his eyes. There were some purple flames dancing in his pupils. Letting out a long breath, Ning Yu finally relaxed. Based on the current situation, the wind, thunder, and fire had obviously taken root in his cyclone. It's time to go back. After putting the wind thunder rhino's carcass into his storage ring, Ning Yu immediately stood up and left the room. Did you know? Something big happened in Tianqian City today. As soon as he walked out of the room, Ning Yu heard the conversation between two martial artists in the lobby. He frowned slightly and slowed down his steps. One of the peak post-liminary realm martial artists asked, "What happened? Tell me quickly." The other early-stage post-liminary realm martial artist curled his lips and said, "You don't even know this? It's really AOT. There's no harm in telling you. 3 big families in Tianqian City have joined forces to launch a thunderous attack on another family. Aren't there 4 big families in Tianqian City? The Lin family, the Zhao family, the Wangs, and the Ning family. Among them, the Lin family is the strongest. Could it be that the other 3 families have joined forces to deal with the Lin family?" The peak post-liminary realm martial artist frowned. "Hehe, you're thinking too much. The Zhao family, the Wangs, and the Lin family have joined forces to deal with the Ning family," the early-stage post-liminary realm martial artist said with a smile. Swoosh. Hearing this, Ning Yu's face darkened. He didn't expect the Lin family to be so deranged as to attack the Ning family while he was participating in the Icy Cave assessment and his father was in the forbidden area of the Magical Beast mountain range. Lin Zhen, Lin Jingtian. Clenching his fists, Ning Yu dashed out instantly, leaving only a shadow on the spot. Ning Yu's actions caused the martial artists in the lobby to look sideways at the disappearing figure with their mouths agape. Gulp. A moment later, the early-stage post-liminary realm martial artist swallowed his saliva and murmured, "This wave of Yuan Qi has obviously reached the complete post-liminary realm, or even the true martial realm, bang bang." At the same time, in the Ning family, countless figures were shuttling back and forth, and fierce collisions were incessant. Although Ning He had called back all the experts of the Ning family who were scattered outside, it was no different from a mantis trying to stop a chariot in the face of 3 families whose strength had increased by several times. Moreover, this time, the 3 families had come aggressively and almost turned out in full force. Their goal was clear, that was to destroy the Ning family. Boom. Along with a loud noise, the 2 figures quickly retreated. "Ning He, don't worry. I won't let you die so quickly. I will torture you slowly until you die." Lin Jingtian's lips curled up slightly as he stared at the figure in front of him and said coldly. As his voice fell, Lin Jingtian's body shook, and a pair of Yuan Qi wings appeared on his back. With a slight shake, his speed skyrocketed, and like a flying sword, he arrived beside Ning He in the blink of an eye. Hiss. Lin Jingtian bent his fingers and suddenly exerted force, grabbing at Ning He's chest fiercely. Not good. Feeling the strong wind coming from beside him, Ning He did not dare to neglect. With a shake of his wrist, violent Yuan Qi swept out like a huge dragon, roaring. Wind-tearing claw. Lin Jingtian's palm brought up a gust of wind and suddenly collided with Ning He's palm. Crack. The next moment, Ning He's face changed dramatically, and his body was sent flying several feet away before he could stabilize himself. However, his right hand was held by Ta, and he could not exert any strength. Hehe, not bad. You are able to block my claw attack with 50% of my strength. It seems that you are not an embroidered pillow. You do have some strength. Lin Jingtian smiled faintly and dashed out, fighting with Ning He again. This time, the Ning family is really finished. After today, there will be no Ning family in Tianqian City. Yes, the 3 families have joined forces to besiege the Ning family. Unless there is a miracle, otherwise the Ning family will really be finished. After the battle, I'm afraid that Lin Zhen will integrate the forces in Tianqian City. We'd better find a way to prepare a congratulatory gift. Looking at the fierce battlefield, the warriors in Tianxian City were all surprised and even sighed. Because after today, the Ning family, one of the 4 families in Tianxian City, was likely to be uprooted. I've played enough. Everyone, listen to my order. Let's wash the Ning family with blood. As Lin Jingtian shouted, the warriors who had already surrounded the Ning family rushed towards the Ning family like ferocious tigers going down the mountain. The strong murderous aura that broke out in an instant made the warriors around pale. Warriors of the Ning family, fight to the death. When the disciples of the 3 great clans rushed out like a tide, Ningyi gave a light shout and immediately rushed to the forefront, blasting at the 3 Hutian realm warriors. Crack! After one blow, the 3 warriors of the acquired stage were killed instantly. Lin Jingtian, even if the Ning family can't escape today, I will make your Lin family suffer a great loss. As his voice fell, Ningyi rushed out instantly. A thunderous explosion resounded in the sky above the Ning family. At this moment, the entire profound Sky City had cast their gazes towards this battle. Chapter 107. Drunken Cloud Brothel, 3rd level, Sky Room 1A. Middle-aged man was pacing back and forth with a serious expression. His slightly clenched fists indicated that his heart was not calm. Master Song, an early Carnate Realm warrior behind the middle-aged man, could not help but call out. Let's wait a little longer. Song Fei frowned and shook his head. But before young mistress left, she said that if the Ning family were to meet with any mishaps, we must do our best to help, the early Carnate Realm warrior said in confusion. You're the master of the Drunken Cloud Brothel? Song Fei snorted and said in a low voice, I said let's wait a little longer, so let's wait a little longer. Pass down the order. Without my orders, no one is to help the Ning family. I'll speak to young mistress. Sigh, the early Carnate Realm warrior sighed and left the room. After the early Carnate Realm warrior left, Song Fei's lips curled up and he laughed coldly. The Ning family, hihi. In a tall building of the Alchemy Union, a few men dressed in alchemist robes were watching the battle that had erupted in the Ning family. The one at the head of the group was naturally the president of the Alchemy Union, Ju Tong. President Ju, do you think it's time for us to act? Behind Ju Tong, Liu Shan asked in a low voice. There's no rush, Ju Tong said slowly after a moment of silence. Actually, Ju Tong was helpless. Before Elder Mo left, he had told him to take care of the Ning family. However, he was very clear that Elder Mo did not want him to protect the Ning family, but Ningyu himself. At this moment, Ningyu was participating in the Icy Caves assessment and was not at the Ning family. Ju Tong did not need to act for the time being. Moreover, he did not want to provoke Lin Jingtian, even though he was a 3rd-level alchemist. President Ju, if we help the Ning family now, it will be a great favor to Ningyu. Liu Shan was a little unwilling. After all, Ningyu had helped him before. He still wanted to fight for Ningyu. With Ningyu's talent in alchemy, his future achievements will be limitless. Taking a deep breath, Ju Tong said in a deep voice, let's wait a little longer. It won't be too late for us to make our move when Ningyu returns to Tianxian City. Hearing Ju Tong's words, Liu Shan's expression was somewhat gloomy. He turned around and left the tall building. Snow Domain Pavilion. After the change in Pill Dragon Valley, many factions followed Lu Wei back to the capital. The only ones left behind were a Middle Xiantian realm martial artist and several Hutian realm martial artists. Towards the great war that erupted with the Ning family, they were powerless. When the Lin family and the others were already in a killing frenzy, bringing up the Snow Domain Pavilion would obviously not be able to suppress their killing intent. Kai. Swords and sabers clashed, flesh was torn apart, and the low sounds of killing continuously rang out in the courtyard of the Ning family. At this moment, Lin Zhen's expression was extremely gloomy. Although the strength of the 3 clans had skyrocketed recently, just as the Ning family was about to be unable to resist, a group of black-clothed martial artists suddenly appeared. These black-clothed martial artists were mostly at the early Xiantian realm. They had rich combat experience and could almost fight 1 against 2, or even 3. With the addition of the black-clothed martial artists, the Ning family forcibly withstood several rounds of attacks and caused them to suffer heavy losses. Bang! Suddenly, there was a violent explosion in the air. Many gazes instantly turned to look. Ning He spat out a mouthful of blood as his figure was forced to retreat. From the looks of it, he would not be able to hold on for long. Ning He, stop resisting stubbornly. Although there is a group of mysterious martial artists helping you, you should be very clear that under the powerful attack of our 3 clans, after today, the Ning family will no longer exist. Glancing at Ning He, who had been repelled, Lin Jingtian said lightly, "Now, I will give you one last chance. Tell me who those black-clothed martial artists are, and I will consider leaving your corpse intact." Ning He ignored Lin Jingtian's words and turned his head to look at the battle in the courtyard of the Ning family. The battle there was even more tragic than on his side. Although the addition of the black-clothed martial artists had temporarily delayed the attack of the 3 clans, Ning He was very clear that if this continued, the Ning family would not be able to resist for 3 hours at most. Stubborn. Seeing that Ning He had ignored him, Lin Jingtian shouted in a low voice. Immediately, his figure shot out and appeared in front of Ning He in the blink of an eye. Puff! Ning He, who had already been seriously injured, suddenly turned pale under Lin Jingtian's powerful attack. He spat out a mouthful of blood and flew out under countless gazes. Old Master! Ning He's defeat immediately caused a burst of exclamations in the courtyard of the Ning family. After defeating Ning He, Lin Jingtian did not join the battle. Instead, he floated in the air and stared at the battle below. Obviously, he did not want to continue fighting because of his status. Although Lin Jingtian did not join the battle, the Ning family, which had lost Ning He, was like losing their backbone, and was defeated again and again. If Ning Tang had not appeared in time to stabilize the situation, the Ning family would have been defeated even faster. Damn it! Ning Tang cursed in his heart. Clenching his teeth, Ning Tang's figure flashed out and rushed towards Lin Zhen. Everyone knew that Lin Zhen's cultivation was at the Xiantian full realm. With Ning Tang's strength, he would definitely not be able to resist him. If Ning Tang is defeated again, the Ning family will be in danger. Isn't that right? It is the alliance of the 3 clans. With the strength of the Ning family, it is not easy for them to hold on until now. I thought there would be a miracle, but now it seems that the miracle did not happen. Bang! Just as everyone was discussing, a muffled sound was heard. Then, Lin Zhen punched out, and a powerful energy burst out from his fist. As he waved his fist, a hideous smile appeared on Lin Zhen's face. Ning Tang, goodbye. Boom. However, the next moment, Ning He rose from the ground and threw a punch with all his strength. Under everyone's astonishment, it collided with Lin Zhen's fist. Puff! Ning He, who was already on the verge of death, fell straight to the back like a kite with a broken string under Lin Zhen's all-out attack. He spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was extremely pale, and his aura was extremely weak. Old fart, since you are courting death, I will fulfill your wish. Seeing that his punch was blocked by Ning He, Lin Zhen clenched his fists and looked gloomy. He immediately rose from the ground, locked his powerful aura on Ning He, and rushed out. At this moment, all eyes were focused on the Ning family. Even the people who were fighting stopped in their tracks. At this moment, some powerful martial artists even saw the despair on Ning He's face. Once Ning He was killed, the Ning family would really be finished. Swoosh! However, just as countless people were shaking their heads and sighing, suddenly, a shocking sword light came from afar and fell down in an instant. The moment the sword light appeared, Lin Zhen's face changed dramatically, and he could not help but retreat. On the ground, Ning He, who was originally in despair, suddenly opened his eyes. His slightly aged figure was trembling, and even his voice was a little incredulous. Chapter 108. The sudden change caught the attention of the surrounding martial artists. They shifted their gazes to the shocking sword ray in the air. The sword ray was extremely fast. As it swept through the air, even the air hissed from the friction. Who is it? Who dares to help the Ning family at this critical juncture? The power of this sword ray is no weaker than a true martial realm martial artist. The surrounding martial artists' mouths were agape, their faces full of astonishment. They were also very curious. Who would dare to help the Ning family? Swoosh! The huge sword ray appeared in front of Lin Zhan in an instant. Then, under his horrified gaze, it slammed into his chest. Damn it! Lin Zhan cursed. He gathered all his yuan qi at his wrist and held it horizontally in front of his chest. It was obvious that he wanted to use his arm to resist this shocking sword ray. However, he had clearly underestimated the power of the sword ray. As his eyes widened in shock, the sword ray suddenly arrived. Ah! A scream like that of a pig being slaughtered was heard. Then, a column of blood shot out from Lin Zhan's shoulder. Lin Zhan's arm was chopped off. Lin Zhan's cultivation level is at the Carnate stage. He is extremely powerful. Who cut off his arm with a single strike? I'm not sure. It should be a true martial realm martial artist. Looking at the arm that had fallen to the ground, whispers rose in the surroundings. The Ning family heaved a sigh of relief. No matter what, a martial artist who could chop off Lin Zhan's arm with a single strike was certainly not weak. At this critical juncture, to have a true martial realm martial artist come forward to help was undoubtedly a timely help to the Ning family. In comparison, the Lin family's faces were as ugly as pig's liver. They had originally planned to besiege the Ning family. Now that the patriarch's arm had been chopped off, what was the point of besieging them? Swoosh! In the blink of an eye, a shadow streaked across the sky and appeared in front of the Ning family's door. Whoosh! The instant the afterimage landed, an uproar broke out in the surroundings, and undisguised cries of surprise broke out. Ningyu! It's Ningyu! Ningyu! Didn't he run away with Ning Kai? Why are you here now? Escape! Nonsense! Ningyu went to participate in the icy cave test. I just didn't expect that he would become so powerful in just 3 days. Hihi, no matter what, I'm afraid the Lin family is going to suffer this time. Ningyu. Lin Zhan stopped the bleeding on his arm and said through gritted teeth, do you only know how to sneak attack? To deal with an old dog like you, I don't need a sneak attack to kill you. With a cold glint in his eyes, Ningyu dashed out once again. His speed was extremely fast, leaving only an afterimage where he had been standing. In an instant, he appeared in front of Lin Zhan. Heaven Fiend Sword Wave. The soul-severing sword waved and a sword radiance suddenly appeared. The sword radiance's powerful energy rippled and caused Lin Zhan's heart to tremble. He felt like he was in a trance. Ningyu, you're asking for it. However, just as the sword radiance was about to hit Lin Zhan, Lin Jingtian roared and yuan qi surged out of his body. He helped Lin Zhan block the huge sword radiance. Old dog, don't worry. I've already prepared something for you. Ningyu had already guessed that Lin Jingtian would attack. Hence, when he used the Heaven Fiend sword wave, he immediately retreated and injected the yuan qi in the cyclone into the soul-severing sword. With the injection of yuan qi, the soul-severing sword let out a buzzing sound and trembled. Teish Kenpo. After the sword trembled to a certain extent, Ningyu stabbed out. Instantly, a sword radiance containing a powerful energy ripple rushed out. Not good. After blocking the huge sword radiance for Lin Zhan, Lin Jingtian wanted to say something ruthless. However, his expression changed and yuan qi surged out of his body to form a yuan qi light pillar. Fut! The yuan qi light pillar and the shocking sword radiance collided and both disappeared. Ningyu, you've grown so much in just a few days. Although he looked calm, Lin Jingtian was extremely shocked. 3 days ago, in the Tianxian Square, he could kill Ningyu as easily as taking something out of his pocket. Now, the sword radiance that Ningyu had shot out was something that he had to use all his strength to block. I have to get rid of him. At this moment, Lin Jingtian was determined to kill Ningyu no matter what. This was because, with Ningyu's speed of growth, if he was given any more time, the consequences would be unimaginable. Old dog Lin, you will pay the price for what you did today. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu's eyes narrowed as he stabbed out with his soul-severing sword. Rays of sword radiance flew out. Pa, pa, pa. Wherever the sword light passed, the air would erupt with a series of low explosive sounds. Little bastard, today, I will let you know the difference between the Xiantian stage and the true martial realm. Dragon Slayer Hand. A deep voice came from Lin Jingtian's mouth as he quickly formed a seal with his hands. In an instant, a huge palm appeared and stopped above his head. Lin Jingtian has used the Dragon Slayer Hand. This is a Middle Earth rank martial skill. At its peak, its power is comparable to a Upper Earth rank martial skill. Rumor has it that when Lin Jingtian was at the Xiantian stage, he used the Dragon Slayer Hand to defeat a early stage true martial realm martial artist. Yeah, since Lin Jingtian has used this move, it seems like it won't be long before Ningyu is killed. Under the shocked gaze of the crowd, the huge palm collided with the sword radiance that Ningyu had slashed out. Dong. The entire heaven and earth seemed to tremble violently at this moment. Huge waves of yuan energy rolled up from the center of the collision and spread out in all directions like a huge dragon. Swoosh. In the next moment, Lin Jingtian's eyes turned cold as he formed another seal. Another huge palm appeared in the air and smashed towards Ningyu's head. At this moment, the hurricane in the area seemed to be disrupted and stopped moving forward. Facing such a powerful attack from Lin Jingtian, Ningyu's face turned solemn. Putting his palms together, violent yuan energy gushed out from his body and wrapped around his wrist. Swoosh. Under the focus of countless gazes, a slightly smaller and material palm print struck out from Ningyu's wrist, and then his eyes suddenly opened. His eyes that were usually calm now carried violent rage that was ghastly to the extreme. Boom. The palm print flew out in the blink of an eye, bringing with it a strong gust of wind as it met Lin Jingtian's huge palm without any reservations. The strong winds that filled the sky caused the surrounding martial artists to involuntarily shiver. That was because even a true martial realm initial stage martial artist might not be able to display such an attack. It seemed like Ningyu's strength had reached a terrifying level. Rumble. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, two palm prints, one big and one small, violently collided against each other. Catcher. The instant the two palm prints collided, a cracking sound rang out and both shattered. At the same time, two figures were sent flying in different directions. Chapter 109. Gulp. The silence lasted for a full minute before it was broken by the sound of someone swallowing their saliva. Many martial artists stared in shock at the skinny figure standing in front of the Ning family. Lin Jingtian was a true martial realm martial artist. How could Ningyu be evenly matched with him? Little bastard, you do have some skills. With a cold snort, Lin Jingtian stomped on the ground and shot forward again. But if this is all you have, this day next year will be the anniversary of your death. You sure. Facing Lin Jingtian's fierce attack, Ningyu did not bat an eyelid. His wrist quickly formed a seal and he struck out with his palm. Violent yuan energy mixed with a strong soul ripple spread across the area. Buzz buzz. Grade 4 soul power poured out and the sky changed color. Some martial artists with weaker soul power were even forced to take a few steps back. They stared at Ningyu in horror, their mouths agape and faces filled with disbelief. This was because the strength of the soul power that exploded from the palm had reached the level of a grade 4 soul power. Soul attack technique. Lin Jingtian did not expect Ningyu to know a soul attack technique. He immediately stopped in the air, turned his head and retreated. Kai. As Ningyu had advanced to the Xiantian middle stage, his soul power had reached grade 4. Hence, Yusho's speed had increased to the maximum. Lin Jingtian had just turned around, but before he could take a few steps back, Yusho was already behind him and slapped him hard on the back. Feeling the strong wind behind him, Lin Jingtian's face changed. He gritted his teeth and the yuan energy in his body surged and gathered on his fist. Then, he punched out with his fist. Swoosh. Even though Lin Jingtian's punch was powerful, it did not last long against Yusho's powerful attack before it was defeated. Pa. Then, Yusho punched Lin Jingtian's back in front of everyone's shocked eyes. A dull thud could be heard as Lin Jingtian suffered the blow and his body fell straight to the ground. After the attack, Ningyu did not stop. Instead, he dashed towards Lin Jingtian with the absolute soul sword in his hand. From the looks of it, Lin Jingtian was doomed. Whoosh. Whoosh. However, Just as the soul-breaking sword was about to land on Ningyu's head, two wind-breaking sounds could be heard. Two fists, one on the left and one on the right, flew towards Ningyu. Not good. Ningyu's expression changed slightly as he swung the soul-severing sword again and again, one to the left and one to the right. Bang! Bang! Then, two figures landed beside Lin Jingtian. Early stage of true martial realm? Ningyu furrowed his brows as he looked at the two old men standing beside Lin Jingtian. He did not recognize these two old men. The patriarch of Wang's, Wang Ku, the ancestor of the Zhao clan, Zhao Peng, the patriarchs of the Zhao clan and the Wangs. Have they broken through to the true martial realm as well? It should be. Even Lin Jingtian has reached the middle stage of true martial realm. It shouldn't be too difficult for them to break through from the half-step true martial realm to the early stage. Ningyu did not recognize these two elders, but the martial artists in Tianqian City did. They were none other than the patriarchs of the Zhao clan and the Wangs. Patriarch Lin, are you all right? After landing, Zhao Peng was the first to ask. I'm fine. I was just careless. Standing up from the ground, Lin Jingtian said viciously, Today, I will capture that little bastard Ningyu and skin him alive. Wang Ku frowned and said, Patriarch Lin, don't worry. Zhao Peng and I have successfully broken through to the true martial realm. With the three of us working together, capturing Ningyu will be a piece of cake. Originally, Wang Ku and Zhao Peng were only half a step into the true martial realm. Due to the large amount of resources they had obtained, they had successfully broken through to the true martial realm after half a month of closed-door training. As soon as they entered the true martial realm, the two of them rushed to the Ning family. According to the agreement, today was the day they would besiege the Ning family. Fortunately, they arrived in time. Otherwise, Lin Jingtian would definitely be killed. Oh no! Ningyu's expression changed. His heart sank to the bottom. Just now, he had unexpectedly used the ghost fiend art. Originally, he could have killed Lin Jingtian. Who would have thought that two people would appear out of nowhere and ruin his plan? If he missed this opportunity, it would be extremely difficult for Lin Jingtian to kill him when he realized what was going on. Moreover, he had two more early-stage true martial realm helpers. The situation had become even more troublesome. The Ning family members turned pale the moment they saw Wang Ku and Zhao Peng appear. Originally, when they saw that Ningyu and Lin Jingtian were evenly matched, they thought that Ningyu would be able to turn the tide just like in the icy cave. Who would have thought that Wang Ku and Zhao Peng would advance to the early-stage true martial realm and join the battle? At this moment, the fire of hope in their hearts was extinguished once again. Shua! Shua! In the next moment, Zhao Lai and Wang Qinian flashed and landed behind Lin Jingtian. Two Xiantian full foundation, two early-stage true martial realm, and one middle-stage true martial realm. At this moment, Ningyu calmed down and said, To kill me, you guys are willing to sacrifice so much. Hee, the winner takes all. History is always written by the victors. With a smile, Lin Jingtian took a step forward. Violent yuan qi swept out from his body and forced the surrounding martial artists to retreat. To be able to force us to use our full strength, you can die without regrets. Do you think that you can kill me like this? The yuan qi in the qi whirlpool gushed out without reservation. At this moment, the surrounding martial artists were shocked. This yuan qi intensity. He has probably reached the true martial realm? Almost. Ningyu is terrifyingly strong. If he doesn't die today, he will definitely break through the limits of the true martial realm and reach the Yuandan realm. He might even reach the threshold of the Yin-Yang realm. That's right. But the prerequisite is that he can survive today. The strength and talent that Ningyu had displayed shocked the martial artists in Tianqian City. Although it was said that one was bound to have good fortune after surviving a disaster was harder than ascending to the heavens. Attack! The moment the yuan qi in Ningyu's body gushed out, Lin Jingtian let out a low growl and struck out with his palm. Behind him, Wang Ku and Zhao Peng rose from the ground and joined the battle. As for Zhao Lai and Wang Qinian, they were at the edge of the battlefield, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Seeing that Lin Jingtian was approaching him, Ningyu took a deep breath. A purple flame danced in his eyes. Go. A purple flame quietly wrapped around his wrist. Then, Ningyu dashed out and met Lin Jingtian head-on. Little bastard, I'm already prepared. If you want to use soul attack to launch a sneak attack on me, I'm afraid you will be disappointed, Lin Jingtian shouted. He did not approach Ningyu, but instead struck out with his palm in mid-air. Old dog Lin, I'll let you live for a while longer. However, the moment Lin Jingtian struck out with his palm, Ningyu's speed skyrocketed. He changed his direction and dashed towards Zhao Lai and Wang Qinian. Chapter 110. Poochie. Poochie. Two crisp sounds rang through the air. Under the shocked gaze of the crowd, Zhao Lai and Wang Qinian both fell to the ground. Even until their deaths, they still couldn't understand why Ningyu's attack from before had actually shattered their seas of consciousness. And they died because of it. Son of a bitch, you're asking for it. The deaths of Zhao Lai and Wang Qinian caused quite a commotion. However, the angriest ones were the Zhao family and the elders of the Wangs, Wang Ku and Zhao Peng. With a roar, Wang Ku's yuan qi surged out of his body. He grabbed at the air and a small ball of yuan qi appeared in the air, heading towards Ningyu. Burning sun slash. As for Zhao Peng, he took out a red flying sword and slashed through the air. In an instant, a shocking sword radiance appeared and flew towards Ningyu at an extremely fast speed. Trident. In the time it took for a spark to fly off a piece of flint, Ningyu shook his wrist and took out the trident he obtained from Tai Kuei. As yuan qi continued to be injected, the trident vibrated slightly and 3 rays of light shot out. Kai. 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 The first ray of light blocked the ball of yuan qi that Wang Ku had sent out and destroyed it. The second ray of light destroyed the sword radiance that Zhao Peng had sent out. The third ray of cold light turned around and came to Lin Jingtian from an extremely tricky angle. It then slammed down fiercely. Dragon-slaying palm. Facing the ray of light from Ningyu, Lin Jingtian did not dare to be careless. He quickly formed a hand seal and a huge palm appeared. With a low grunt, the palm collided with the ray of light. Oh no! The moment the two collided, Ningyu's eyes narrowed and he retreated. The trident was not his life-bonded treasure, and the power it displayed was not very strong. It could not withstand Lin Jingtian's dragon-slaying hand. The moment the trident's cold light dissipated, Lin Jingtian rushed out in a straight line. His whole body's aura was released, and the monstrous pressure of the middle stage of the true martial realm fiercely pressed down on Ningyu. At this moment, Lin Jingtian wanted to overwhelm Ningyu in terms of aura. Lin Jingtian knew clearly that if they continued to waste time like this, they wouldn't know when they would be able to kill Ningyu. If Ning Hai returned to the Ning family at this time, it would be very disadvantageous for them. Therefore, Lin Jingtian made up his mind to kill Ningyu as soon as possible, even if it meant sacrificing himself. He's going all out. Ningyu's eyes narrowed. His 4th-grade soul force gushed out from his body and easily withstood Lin Jingtian's overwhelming aura. At the same time, the purple flame in Ningyu's sea of consciousness throbbed unceasingly, and then suddenly burst out from the cyclone. Evil spirit. The moment the purple flame burst out, Ningyu flicked his wrist, and an extremely violent palm print expanded in front of everyone's horrified eyes. Demon-breaking palm. Lin Jingtian's toes touched the ground, and his body rushed forward. Yuan qi burst out from his palms, and there was a hint of violent aura. In the middle of his palms, fiery red yuan qi condensed like a scorching hot flame. With a strong gust of wind, it slammed towards Ningyu's palm print. As soon as Lin Jingtian made his move, it attracted the attention of the surrounding martial artists. This was because the degree of yuan qi density was comparable to a martial artist in the late stage of the true martial realm. Facing such a fierce move from Lin Jingtian, even though Ningyu was prepared, he still took a deep breath. However, the current situation did not allow him to be distracted. Wind, thunder, fire. As Ningyu bellowed, a ball of purple flame separated from the palm print and gradually spread out. It's wind, thunder, fire. Ningyu actually has wind, thunder, and fire. What is wind, thunder, fire? You don't even know about the wind, lightning, fire? To tell you the truth, the wind lightning fire is a special type of flame. It is incomparably powerful. That's right. In the hands of an ordinary cultivator, they might not be able to display the might of the wind thunder fire. But in the hands of an alchemist, the might of the wind thunder fire is terrifying enough to make one tremble. Buzz. The moment the wind, thunder, and fire palm prints broke away, the surrounding air seemed to buzz from the scorching heat, and they all moved away in all directions. Kacha. In the next moment, Lin Jingtian's devil-crushing palm collided with Ning Yu's netherworld samsara palm. A crisp sound rang out. The netherworld samsara palm was broken, but the demon-shattering palm was undamaged. It continued to attack. Wind lightning annihilation. He poured all of his soul power into his wind lightning fire palm. Then, it collided with the demon-shattering palm. Damn it. The moment the two collided, Lin Jingtian's face changed. He realized that the demon-shattering palm could not withstand the impact of the wind, thunder, and fire lightning fire palm and exploded. Furthermore, after the demon-shattering palm was destroyed, the wind, thunder, and fire lightning fire palm did not slow down. In the blink of an eye, they appeared in front of him. Yuan Li light shield. Lin Jingtian's eyes narrowed as his body trembled. Then, the Yuan Qi in his mind surged out and formed a shield in front of him. Ningyu, if you want to break my Yuan Li light shield, then go home. What? After the shield was formed, Lin Jingtian relaxed a little. Just as he was about to mock Lin Fan, his face changed and his eyes almost popped out of their sockets. This is impossible. This was because his Yuan Li light shield could not withstand the attack of the wind, thunder, and fire lightning fire shield. Teish Kenpo. The moment Lin Jingtian's Yuan Li light shield was broken, Ningyu gritted his teeth and channeled the last bit of Yuan Qi in his body into the soul-severing sword. Then, while Lin Jingtian was still in a daze, the soul-severing sword left his hand and caused the air to tremble. No. Seeing that the absolute soul's sword was about to reach him, the shock in Lin Jingtian's eyes grew, and he revealed a look of despair. Die. Faced with Lin Jingtian's dying roar, Ningyu was not affected. He controlled the soul-severing sword with his soul and pressed it down. Poochie. In the next moment, the soul-severing sword pierced Lin Jingtian's chest as everyone in Tianxian City looked on in shock. A crisp sound was heard. Lin Jingtian's eyes widened and his face was filled with disbelief as he fell to the ground. Whoosh. The sudden change caused the entire Tianxian City to fall silent. Everyone stared in shock at the figure standing in front of the Ning family, holding the flying sword. They suddenly felt like they were in a trance. This scene was very similar to the test in the Frost Cave a month ago. During the Icy Cave assessment, Ningyu turned the tide and saved the Ning family. Now, he had appeared and killed the Lin family's patriarch, Lin Jingtian, who was in the intermediate stage of the martial arts realm. Was Lin Jingtian, who was in the intermediate stage of the martial arts realm, weaker, or was Ningyu, who was in the Xiantian stage, stronger? Whoosh. The silence lasted for a full 5 minutes before it finally exploded. Ningyu is too insane. Yeah, with his strength, he should be able to enter the top 5,000 of the innate realm battle roll. Top 5,000? Your information is too outdated. In the previous innate realm battle roll, Ningyu was ranked 1,000. 1,000. No wonder he is so strong. Chapter 111. Swoosh. Lin Jingtian's death caused Wang Ku and Zhao Peng's expressions to turn ugly. After all, they were only in the early stages of the true martial realm. If Lin Jingtian, who was in the middle stages of the true martial realm, could be killed, what more them? However, they did not intend to give up. After exchanging glances, they rose from the ground and rushed towards Ningyu. They were betting on the fact that Ningyu was heavily injured and could not use his full strength. Energy gathering handprint. Facing Wang Ku and Zhao Peng's attacks, Ningyu's expression turned cold. His wrists quickly formed a seal and he displayed the energy gathering handprint. As the energy gathering handprint was displayed, the surrounding Yuan Qi gathered. The originally empty Qi whirlpool regained some Yuan Qi. Teish Kenpo. As soon as the Yuan Qi in the Qi whirlpool recovered, Ningyu waved the soul-severing sword and displayed the third form of the supreme 9 purities sword skill, Teish Kenpo. Boom! A sword wave suddenly formed and arrived in front of Wang Ku at a frightening speed. It gradually expanded in front of his eyes and finally landed heavily on his chest. Bang! The huge impact caused Wang Ku to retreat dozens of feet before he could stabilize his body. Poochie. However, the moment the sword wave hit Wang Ku, Zhao Peng had already arrived in front of Ningyu. He threw out a punch and landed squarely on Ningyu's shoulder. The huge force on his shoulder caused Ningyu to taste sweetness in his throat. He spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and his face turned pale. When he killed Lin Jingtian, Ningyu had already used up a lot of his energy and his strength had dropped by more than half. Coupled with the forceful display of Teish Kenpo, he had almost no strength to fight back. If not for the spirit transformation technique's rapid absorption of Yuan Qi, Ningyu might not even be able to stand now. Little bastard, die. With a ferocious expression, Zhao Peng raised his right leg and kicked towards Ningyu's head. This kick was so powerful that if Ningyu was unlucky enough to be kicked, he would be crippled even if he did not die. Whoosh! At this critical moment, Ningyu's soul power wrapped around his legs, forcing him to take a few steps back, barely dodging Zhao Peng's fatal attack. Green Sun Fruit. After dodging the attack, Ningyu hurriedly took out the Azure Young Fruit from the storage ring. Although refining the Azure Sun Fruit was rather dangerous, the current Ningyu couldn't care less. He opened his mouth wide and swallowed the Azure Sun Fruit into his stomach. Buzz! As soon as the Azure Sun Fruit entered his stomach, a surge of energy spread out in his stomach, crashing left and right in an extremely unstable manner. Damn it! Cursing inwardly, Ningyu pushed his speed to the limit, dodging left and right. Kid, do you only know how to dodge? Zhao Peng's expression was extremely gloomy. He knew that Ningyu had already reached the end of his rope. If they were to fight head-on, Zhao Peng had an 80% chance of killing him. However, Ningyu didn't fight head-on with him. Instead, he kept dodging. Facing Ningyu's dodging, Zhao Peng couldn't do anything. After all, his instantaneous burst of speed was far from Ningyu's. It's not a solution to continue dodging like this. Ningyu knew that although the Azure Sun Fruit could replenish the energy consumed, the speed of replenishment was obviously not as fast as the speed of consumption. If this continued, Zhao Peng would catch up to him sooner or later. Oh, right. Suddenly, Ningyu's eyes lit up. Pushing his speed to the limit, he sprinted into the distance. Two old dogs, I'm not going to play with you anymore. I'm going to make a trip to your family now. Hearing Ningyu's words, Zhao Peng and Wang Ku's expression changed. Without any time to think, they immediately chased after him. In order to besiege the Ning family, they had mobilized all the elites from their respective families. At this critical moment, if Ningyu were to attack them, the consequences would be unthinkable. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the sky above Tianqian City, one in front and two behind, three silhouettes were sprinting. The one in front was Ningyu. The two elders behind him were Zhao Peng and Wang Ku. Son of a bitch, you won't be able to escape. Zhao Peng scolded as he sprinted. Son of a bitch, don't let us catch up to you. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. Wang Ku was furious as he roared. I must leave Tianqian City. Turning around to look at Wang Ku and Zhao Peng, who were closing in on him, Ningyu sped up again. He changed his direction and sprinted out of Tianqian City. As for Wang Ku and Zhao Peng, they didn't think too much and followed him. They only had one goal, which was to kill Ningyu. With Ningyu's capabilities, once he escaped and recovered to his peak, there would be no place for them in Tianqian City. Therefore, they made up their minds to kill Ningyu when he is heavily injured. At the same time, at the Drunken Cloud Inn. Ningyu, to think you'd have such a day. The corner of Song Fei's mouth curled up as an evil smile flashed across his face. Owner, do you think it's time to help the Ning family? An early-stage Xiantian warrior asked cautiously. Song Fei was in a good mood. Pass down my order. All warriors of the Drunken Cloud brothel above the Xiantian realm are to move out. We must ensure that the Ning family is not attacked again. Owner, Ningyu. The early-stage Xiantian warrior asked. However, before he could finish his sentence, Song Fei interrupted, "What we need to do is to help the Ning family, not Ning Yu. Besides, the ones chasing Ning Yu are two early-stage true martial realm warriors. With the current strength of the Drunken Cloud brothel, even if we want to help, we don't have the strength. Go and pass down the order." Song Fei waved his hand and said, "Don't ask about anything else." "Yes." The early-stage Xiantian warrior nodded and left. Swoosh. Not long after the early-stage Xiantian warrior left, a figure quietly appeared beside Song Fei. Seeing the figure, Song Fei greeted respectfully, "Senior Zhongjin." "Song Fei, the family head has ordered that Ning Yu must die." Zhongjin narrowed his eyes and said in a low voice, "Originally, when Ning Yu went to the frozen cave to participate in the test, I couldn't do anything. Since he has returned to Tianxian City, I can't miss this opportunity. Senior, Ning Yu is very strong. Even the Lin family's elder, Lin Jingtian, died in his hands." In front of Zhongjin, Song Fei did not even dare to breathe loudly. He said carefully, however, he was also severely injured. At this moment, the Zhao family's Wang's elder is chasing after him. That useless Lin Jingtian dares to call himself elder? With a cold snort, Zhongjin said gloomily, "A middle-stage true martial realm warrior like him, I can kill him with one hand. Since you have already pledged your allegiance to the Zhong family, I will definitely not let you suffer. Come with me, when the time comes, I will let you kill Ning Yu with your own hands." "Thank you, senior." Hearing Zhongjin's words, Song Fei was overjoyed and hurriedly thanked him. Ever since Ning Yu embarrassed him at Drunken Cloud Inn, his hatred for Ning Yu had reached the sky. There was not a moment that he did not want to kill Ning Yu. Originally, he thought that with Zhong Wenyong, he could kill Ning Yu. Who would have thought that Zhong Wenyong, that useless trash, would be killed by Ning Yu? Now, Zhongjin was many times stronger than Zhong Wenyong. In his opinion, even if Ning Yu had 10 lives, he would not be able to escape the fate of death. Chapter 112. Swoosh. In the dense forest, a shadow flashed by, bringing with it a strong gust of wind that shook the surrounding trees. "Damn it! I need to find a place to refine the Qingyang fruit." Ning Yu looked back at the two figures behind him and cursed. He gathered his soul energy around his legs and increased his speed once again. After leaving Tianxian City, Ning Yu increased his speed to the limit in an attempt to shake off Wang Ku and Zhao Peng. Because his Yuan Qi was almost depleted, he needed to replenish it as soon as possible. "Son of a bitch, you can't escape." Wang Ku's face was gloomy as he growled into Ning Yu's ears, "I advise you to surrender. Only then will you die in one piece. Wang Ku, stop talking nonsense with him. Hurry up and catch up." Next to him, Zhao Peng's face was gloomy. Then, a strong gust of Yuan Qi gushed out of his body and doubled his speed. Seeing Zhao Peng's action, Wang Ku was first stunned. Then, he gritted his teeth and similarly, a violent gust of Yuan Qi gushed out of his body and gathered on his legs as he gave chase. Not good. Feeling the two strong gusts of wind behind him, Ning Yu's expression changed. He swung the soul-severing sword and slashed twice. Innate malevolent sword ripple. Due to the excessive consumption of Yuan Qi, Ning Yu could no longer use the third move of the 9 Pure One sword technique, Teish Kenpo. He could only use the second move, innate malevolent sword ripple. Plus, the power of the innate malevolent sword ripple was not at its peak. Its power had decreased by at least half. Bang! Casually dispersing the sword ray in front of him, Wang Ku's lips curled up. In an instant, he appeared in front of Ning Yu and slashed out with his palm. As if he could see Ning Yu's tragic death, Wang Ku sneered, "Ning Yu, in your next life, remember, do not offend." What? However, before Wang Ku's palm could touch Ning Yu's body, his eyes revealed a terrified expression. He bent his legs in the air, turned his head around, and dashed backward. "Hee, since you're here, don't go back." Smiling faintly, Ning Yu willed his mind. Immediately, a huge blood-red shadow of a corpse appeared behind him. Bloody corpse shadow. Wang Ku let out a heart-wrenching roar, "You're from the corpse sec. Run." This was the first thought that came to Wang Ku's mind when he saw the bloody corpse. However, He was clearly slower than the blood-colored corpse shadow. In the blink of an eye, the corpse shadow caught up to him and smashed his head. Poochie. The huge impact on his head caused Wang Ku to instantly collapse. He coughed up a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground, unable to get up. Little bastard. Seeing Wang Ku's miserable state, Zhao Peng abruptly stopped in the air. He looked at Ning Yu with a gloomy expression and said, "So you are a member of the corpse sect. I will tell this news to everyone in Shentian City, Xiu." With that, Zhao Peng turned around and rushed toward Shentian City. In fact, Zhao Peng was very clear that the power of the bloody corpse shadow was not too strong. It was only equivalent to a true martial realm martial artist. However, the reputation of the corpse sect was too great. It was so great that he did not dare to resist and could only think of escaping. "Me. Do you think you can escape?" With a cold snort, Ning Yu used his soul force to control the bloody corpse shadow. In an instant, it rushed to Zhao Peng's side and blocked his path of retreat. "Bloody corpse shadow, go for me." A low voice came out from Ning Yu's mouth. Then, a powerful pressure was emitted from the bloody corpse shadow and ruthlessly suppressed Zhao Peng. Cloud-splitting palm. Seeing that he could not escape, Zhao Peng clenched his teeth and quickly formed a seal with his wrist. In an instant, several illusory palms appeared and collided with the bloody corpse shadow. Kai kai kai. The bloody corpse shadow was extremely corrosive. Although it was not as corrosive as the corpse yin qi, it was not much weaker. The moment the illusory palms formed by Zhao Peng's yuan qi touched the bloody corpse shadow, they were corroded and dissipated. When a person was on the verge of death, the combat power that erupted from them was extremely shocking. Although he was extremely afraid, for the sake of survival, Zhao Peng still fought the bloody corpse shadow to a standstill. "No, I have to leave this place as soon as possible." Although he fought the bloody corpse shadow to a standstill, Zhao Peng was very clear that with his chaotic mind, he was destined to be no match for the bloody corpse shadow. It would not be long before he was defeated. Bang! After forcing the bloody corpse shadow back with one strike, Zhao Peng found an opportunity and quickly ran into the distance. "I've been waiting for a long time." Teish Kenpo. However, the moment Zhao Peng retreated, Ning Yu waved the soul-breaking sword and stabbed out. The sky changed color and a shocking sword aura appeared in the sky. Under Zhao Peng's horrified eyes, it ruthlessly slashed down. While Zhao Peng was fighting the bloody corpse shadow, Ning Yu seized the opportunity to desperately refine the azure sun fruit. Although he did not completely refine it, there was already a lot of yuan qi stored in his sea of consciousness. It was enough for him to perform Teish Kenpo. Zhao Peng only wanted to escape, but he did not expect the sudden appearance of the sword aura. For a moment, he panicked. In the instant that he panicked, the monstrous sword light suddenly slashed down, and without any deviation, it slashed right onto his chest. Fart. A crisp sound was heard, and Zhao Peng lowered his head slightly. Looking at the wound on his chest, he opened his mouth slightly. Just as he was about to speak, his body fell straight to the ground with a plop. Phew. After confirming that Zhao Peng was dead, Ning Yu let out a long sigh of relief. His tense heart was slightly relieved. Bloody corpse shadow, come back. With a thought, Ning Yu stored the bloody corpse shadow into his storage ring. Ning Yu knew that he could kill Wang Ku and Zhao Peng this time because of the bloody corpse shadow. Otherwise, with his current state, he would definitely die in the hands of Wang Ku and Zhao Peng. "Let me see what you have on you." Ning Yu was not a saint. Naturally, he would not do something like collecting the bodies of Wang Ku and Zhao Peng. Instead, he came to their side and searched their bodies. 50 high-grade essence crystals. 2 low-grade earth-rank flying swords. Ning Yu was very disappointed and almost cursed out loud. Because on Wang Ku and Zhao Peng, he only found 50 high-grade essence crystals and 2 low-grade earth-rank flying swords. Forget it. It's better than nothing. Pursing his lips, Ning Yu put the 50 high-grade essence crystals and the 2 low-grade earth-rank flying swords into his storage ring. Then, he sat cross-legged and slowly circulated the spirit transformation technique in his body. He began to refine the remaining azure yang fruit in his body. The energy contained in the azure yang fruit was extremely powerful. Although he had been refining it along the way, there was still a lot of energy that was not refined and remained in Ningyu's body. The absorption speed of the spirit transformation technique was extremely fast. After about 2 hours, Ningyu completely refined the remaining azure yang fruit in his body. The spirit transformation technique had completely replenished the energy within his body, and he'd recovered to his peak state. I should be able to attempt to charge into the advanced stage of the congenital realm now. With a flick of his wrist, Ningyu took out the high-grade essence crystals he'd obtained from Wang Ku and Zhao Peng. If he cultivated normally, Ningyu would need at least another month to advance into the advanced stage of the congenital realm. But after going through a few battles, he felt that the vortex faintly showed signs of expanding, so he decided to charge into the advanced stage of the congenital realm. Swoosh! However, Ningyu had just taken out the high-grade essence crystals when his pupils constricted, and he instantly stood up with the soul-severing sword in his hand. Chapter 113. Let's go. Without the slightest hesitation, Ningyu rose from the ground and dashed into the depths of the forest in a flash. The yuan qi under his feet continued to burn and sizzle. Ningyu raised his speed to the limit and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Shua. Just as Ningyu left, a figure landed on the ground. 2 early-stage true martial realm warriors. Looking at Wang Ku and Zhao Peng lying on the ground, the figure frowned and mumbled, they must have been killed by Ningyu. Not simple indeed. Originally, Zhongjin thought that Ningyu was just a Hutian realm warrior. Now, it seemed that he had underestimated Ningyu. First, he killed Lin Jingtian, who was in the middle stage true martial realm. Then, he killed 2 early-stage true martial realm warriors while escaping. From this, it could be seen that he was not weak. Shua. Right at this moment, another figure dashed over. Senior, isn't Ningyu here? The figure asked respectfully after he appeared. Waving his hand, Zhongjin said, according to his aura, Ningyu has just left. If we go after him now, we should be able to catch up with him. Hearing this, Song Fei was overjoyed. Senior, let's not waste any more time. Let's go now. Let's go. I also want to see who this Ningyu is. Nodding his head, Zhongjin grabbed Song Fei and dashed out. Zhongjin's aura was vigorous and powerful. Although he was carrying Song Fei, he did not slow down at all. Even though Ningyu had recovered to his peak and was burning his soul energy to increase his speed, Zhongjin still caught up to him after 10 minutes. Song Fei. Standing on a giant tree, Ningyu's face was gloomy. He said coldly, "Why are you chasing me?" "Haha, since we are chasing after you, we naturally want to take your life." Song Fei smiled and said, "Ningyu, with Senior Zhongjin here, you won't be able to escape today." Looking at the man beside Song Fei, Ningyu's heart sank. Although Zhongjin was also in the middle stage of the true martial realm, his aura was extremely vigorous. It was not something that Lin Jingtian, who was in the middle stage of the true martial realm, could compare with. It could be said that if Zhongjin wanted to kill Lin Jingtian, it would be a piece of cake. Ningyu, to be able to kill a martial artist in the middle stage of the true martial realm while still in the Xiantian stage, I admire you very much. A wisp of disappointment appeared in Zhongjin's eyes as he said, "If you hadn't killed Zhong Wenyong, I might have considered taking you as my disciple. As for now, I can only take your life. If you want to fight, then let's fight." Cut the crap. With the breaking soul sword in front of him, Ningyu's essence surged in his sea of consciousness. He said coldly, "There are many people who want to take my life. Who do you think you are? Good, very good. Young people should have some guts." As he spoke, Zhongjin changed the topic and said gloomily, "However, you have used your guts on the wrong person." As soon as he said the word wrong, Zhongjin suddenly jumped up, clenched his right hand into a fist, and punched out. Kai kai. Wherever the fist passed, the air would sizzle and spread out in all directions. Facing such a fierce punch from Zhongjin, Ningyu didn't dare to be careless. He quickly gathered his primordial qi on his wrist and pushed out his fist. It collided with Zhongjin's fist. Bang! When the two fists collided, there was not much of a ripple. However, The huge force from the fist caused Ningyu's hand to hurt and his body to fly backward. Catcher. As Ningyu flew backward, the towering tree beneath him suddenly cracked from the inside out. Whirlwind kick. In the next moment, Zhongjin dashed forward again. On both his legs, thick essence pulsed continuously and finally swept out. Shosho. His legs brought about a strong gust of wind, and the surrounding stones on the ground were blown into the air. They were all aimed at Ningyu's face. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Netherworld Fiend. Before he could recover, Ningyu formed a seal with his wrist and pushed out with his palm. The violent palm print directly shattered the stones in front of him. Bang! However, the moment the stones were shattered, Zhongjin's legs had already arrived in front of Ningyu and ruthlessly swept at his body. Poochie. The powerful force caused Ningyu to feel a sweet taste in his throat. He spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned slightly pale. After 2 moves, Zhongjin stopped and said indifferently, "Ningyu, I am not trash like Lin Jingtian. In front of me, you have no chance to resist. Your cultivation has already reached the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. You are only 1 step away from advancing to the late stage of the true martial realm." With a serious expression, Ningyu said in a low voice, "Back then, Zhong Wenyong wanted to kill me, but I killed him. Now, you want to kill me too. I will let you know that it is not that easy to kill me." As he spoke, Ningyu's eyes turned cold and a purple flame danced in his pupils. Then, the purple flame in his consciousness suddenly sprang out and stopped on his finger. Wind, thunder, fire. Seeing the purple flame dancing in Ningyu's hand, Zhongjin was startled at first. Then, he revealed a joyful expression and said, "You actually devoured the wind, thunder, fire. Ha ha ha, it seems that this trip was not in vain. I must obtain the wind, thunder, fire." Zhongjin was a 3rd-grade alchemist, and his soul strength had reached the early stage of the 4th grade. In his opinion, as long as he could obtain the wind, thunder, fire, there was a high chance that he would be able to refine a 4th-grade elixir and advance to a 4th-grade alchemist. Thinking about this, Zhongjin revealed a greedy expression and said, "Hand over the wind, thunder, fire and I promise to spare your life." "Spare my life? Do you think I am a 3-year-old? Hissing coldly, Ningyu flicked his finger and the purple flame on his fingertip shot out. With a shocking speed, it arrived before Zhongjin. "You are seeking death." Staring at the approaching purple flame, Zhongjin's eyes turned cold. He quickly formed a hand seal and a miniature yuan qi barrier appeared before him. It then pressed down on the purple flame. Kai. The wind, thunder, fire was extremely powerful. In an instant, it shattered the yuan qi barrier that Zhongjin had created. He, wind, thunder, fire, bring it on." In the next second, the corner of Zhongjin's lips curled up. He reached into his robe and took out a black pouch. Oh no! Looking at the black pouch, Ningyu's expression changed. He quickly summoned his soul and attempted to summon the wind, thunder, fire back. Because he realized that the black pouch that Zhongjin had summoned was no ordinary item. It was at least of the heaven rank. "You want to escape from the black dragon pouch? Get in here." The black dragon pouch suddenly opened up and exploded with a powerful suction force. Though the wind, thunder, fire had already been devoured by Ningyu, it could not resist the powerful suction force of the black dragon pouch and was sucked in. Chapter 114. 8 Desolation Heaven Opening Palm. With a flick of his wrist, Zhongjin instantly blasted out a palm strike that contained dense soul fluctuations. Soul attack technique. In order to kill Ningyu as soon as possible, Zhongjin displayed his trump card, 8 Desolation Heaven Opening Palm. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Netherworld Fiend. Facing Zhongjin's palm strike, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. All the soul force in his body gushed out and gathered on his wrist. Then, he quickly formed a seal and blasted out a palm strike. Soul attack technique. Feeling the dense soul fluctuations on Ningyu's palm strike, Zhongjin was slightly startled. Then, a look of ecstasy appeared on his face. Soul attack techniques were extremely rare. Without paying a high price, it was basically impossible to obtain one. Previously, in order to obtain the 8 Desolation Heaven Opening Palm, He had spent a lot of effort and almost died in the demonic dragon ruins. He did not expect that Ningyu also possessed a soul attack technique. Moreover, its power was not weak. Bang! At this moment, the sound of the two palm strikes colliding spread throughout the area. Ah! Song Fei screamed in pain as the soul fluctuations spread in all directions. After all, Song Fei's cultivation was only at the late Xiantian realm. Facing such fierce soul fluctuations, he naturally could not withstand it. If not for Zhong Jin blocking a part of the aftershocks for him, he would have already met his maker. Poochie. After the muffled sound, Ningyu once again spat out a mouthful of blood. His breathing was restless and unstable. Both Ningyu and Song Fei's soul force had reached the 4th grade. Although their soul forces were almost the same, in terms of pure strength, Ningyu was a level lower than Zhong Jin. One was at the middle stage of the Xiantian realm, while the other was at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. Even though Ningyu had used all his strength to resist, he could not completely resolve the power of the 8 Desolation Heaven opening palm. A wave of soul force had quietly entered his sea of consciousness and was currently corroding the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness. Damn it! Teish Kenpo. Ningyu forcibly suppressed the violent soul power ripples in his sea of consciousness. Then, he brandished his sword. Suddenly, a wave of sword light burst out, slashing towards Zhongjin's head. This sword light was almost the strongest combat power that Ningyu could unleash at this stage. It was either succeed or die trying. Black Dragon Sword Chi. Even though Zhongjin was mentally prepared for the attack that Ningyu had unleashed in an instant, he still couldn't help but feel shocked. With a thought, Zhongjin hurriedly took out a black flying sword and slashed out with it. A shocking sword chi swept out to meet Ningyu's Teish Kenpo. Kai. In the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint, the sword chi and the sword wave collided. An extremely terrifying shockwave spread out in all directions at an astonishing speed. This powerful shockwave was enough to kill a Xiantian full-circle martial artist. Zhongjin's figure flashed and appeared in front of Song Fei, shielding him from the deadly shockwave. Although Song Fei's cultivation was only at the late stage of the Xiantian realm, in Zhongjin's opinion, Song Fei was a member of the Drunken Cloud Inn. He was a chess piece that he had sent into the Drunken Cloud Manor. At the very least, he couldn't die now. Ningyu, you are now an arrow at the end of its flight. I advise you to obediently hand over the wind, thunder, and fire, and you will be spared the pain of the soul devouring. After the shockwave dispersed, Zhongjin said indifferently, you know, I have a way to extract your soul from your body while you are still alive. Zhongjin, it is still too early to talk about this. With a gloomy face, Ningyu took a deep breath. Immediately, all the spiritual qi in his sea of consciousness gushed out. Swoosh. Looking at the powerful spiritual qi fluctuation around Ningyu, Zhongjin's expression changed. He was slightly moved. Because he found that the strength of the spiritual qi around Ningyu was infinitely close to the true martial realm. The spiritual qi in his body was already this strong at the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. What would happen if he advanced to the true martial realm? No. Could it be? All of a sudden, Zhongjin's eyes widened in shock as he looked at Ningyu. With his mouth slightly agape, he exclaimed, "You have 2 cyclones in your body." As a middle-stage true martial realm martial artist, Zhongjin naturally knew that some geniuses could split their cyclones. However, those were extremely rare. Even in Danwu College, there were not many students who could split their cyclones. Furthermore, they did it in the Xiantian realm. It must be the cyclone splitting, otherwise the spiritual qi in my body wouldn't be so strong. Clenching his fists tightly, Zhongjin's face turned fiery. Today, Ningyu had given him too much of a shock. First, it was the wind, thunder, and fire, followed by the soul attack. However, the shock that these two had given him was far inferior to the last one, cyclone splitting. As long as I can force out the method of cyclone splitting, I can even split my cyclone into 2 when I am in the middle stage of the true martial realm. Thinking of this, Zhongjin laughed excitedly. As long as he could split his cyclone into 2, his strength would increase by several folds. At that time, even if he were to face a late-stage true martial realm martial artist, he would still be able to defeat them easily. Thinking of this, the corner of Zhongjin's mouth rose as he looked at Ningyu as if he was looking at a treasure. I'm not going to play with you anymore. Now, I'll let you taste the pain of having your soul devoured. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhongjin's soul force crazily gushed out from his body and attacked Ningyu's head. Humph! Aren't you afraid of the wind cutting your tongue? Coldly snorting, Ningyu's soul force surged around his body. He was not afraid in the slightest. His soul force had reached the 4th grade while Zhongjin's was only at the 4th grade. Both of them were evenly matched and neither could gain the upper hand. In his previous life, Ningyu was a peak 9th grade alchemist. His control over his soul force was more than a level higher than Zhongjin's. Therefore, if they were to compete in soul force, it was hard to tell who would win. Hehe, Ningyu, do you really think I want to compete with your soul force? Just as the two surges of soul force were about to collide, Zhongjin suddenly let out a strange laugh and withdrew his soul force back into his consciousness. His body then appeared next to Ningyu and he threw a punch. Die. The corner of his mouth curled up into an evil smile. As if he could see Ningyu's heart being blown apart, Zhongjin coldly said, "Remember, in your next life, don't offend those you shouldn't." Ah. However, before Zhongjin could finish his sentence, he let out a squeal like a pig being slaughtered and quickly retracted his wrist. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Looking at his blooded palm, Zhongjin couldn't help but curse out loud. He shouted angrily, "Ningyu, what kind of trick did you use? How dare you plot against me? It's a small turtle shell." Actually, when Zhongjin let out a squeal, Ningyu was still in a daze. Then, he regained his senses. What was stuck in his chest was none other than the armored dragon turtle's small turtle shell. Previously, a small turtle shell could cut off the Wind Thunder Rhino's horn, let alone Zhongjin's flesh and blood. Go. Ningyu didn't think too much about it. Instead, he grabbed hold of the fleeting opportunity. His soul force poured out and entered Zhongjin's consciousness while he was in a rage. Suppress him. A low voice came out from Ningyu's mouth. Then, he controlled his soul force and crazily suppressed Zhongjin's consciousness. Because his control over his soul force had reached its peak, Ningyu used half of his soul force to suppress Zhongjin's yuan qi and the other half to suppress Zhongjin's soul force. Chapter 115. Compete. Both your yuan and strength of the soul have been suppressed by me. You can only use 30% of your strength now. Snorting, Ningyu's yuan qi gushed out of his body and entered the soul-breaking sword. He then slashed out multiple rays of light. Damn it! Black Dragon Sword Qi. Cursing, Zhongjin waved the Black Dragon Sword in his hand. Instantly, multiple rays of sword qi appeared and went up against the rays of light. Then, Zhongjin took out the Black Dragon pouch. The pouch opened and a powerful suction force emerged, trying to suck in the rays of light that Ningyu had slashed out. Zhongjin, if you were in your peak condition, I might be afraid of you. However, the current you is no longer a match for me. Ningyu's expression turned cold. He rose from the ground, formed a seal with his wrist, and threw out a punch. Bang! The giant fist grew larger and larger before Zhongjin's eyes. Finally, under his horrified gaze, the fist landed on his chest. Kai Kai. At the same time, the soul-breaking sword qi dispersed the Black Dragon Sword qi and neutralized this powerful attack. Go. In the next second, the soul-breaking sword left his hand and stabbed at the Black Dragon pouch. Because Zhongjin was severely injured, the suction force from the Black Dragon pouch weakened significantly. The soul-breaking sword seized the opportunity and broke the pouch. Wind, thunder, fire. The moment the pouch was broken, Ningyu summoned the wind, thunder, fire, and thunder with his strength of the soul. After the wind, thunder, and fire were summoned, they did not stay in the air. Instead, they entered Ningyu's consciousness. Together with the remaining wind, thunder, and fire, they quickly expelled the strand of Zhongjin's soul consciousness. Poochie. This series of events caused Zhongjin to spit out a mouthful of fresh blood. Explode. Ningyu's eyes turned cold. His soul force forced the essence qi in Zhongjin's sea of consciousness to a corner. Then, he shouted in a low voice. Suddenly, an extremely subtle explosion sound came from Zhongjin's sea of consciousness. Pa pa pa. Following that, more explosions could be heard. Zhongjin's eyes widened in shock and fear appeared in his eyes. Soul power, come back. After the explosion reached its limit, Ningyu withdrew the soul force from Zhongjin's sea of consciousness. Bang! Just as he retracted his soul force, Zhongjin's head exploded with a bang. After the head exploded, a powerful soul force rushed out and flew into the distance. Soul-breaking sword. How could Ningyu give Zhongjin's soul power the chance to escape? With a flick of his wrist, the absolute soul sword flew out of his hand, and he gave chase. Not only was the soul-severing sword a heaven-grade flying sword, but it was also a devouring flying sword. It had an extremely powerful devouring power towards soul power. Not long after, Zhongjin's soul force was devoured by the absolute soul sword. Buzz. After devouring Zhongjin's soul force, the absolute soul sword trembled slightly and let out a buzzing sound, like a happy child. Does it have its own consciousness? Slightly stunned, Ningyu tried to communicate with the breaking soul sword. However, the breaking soul sword only trembled a few times before returning to normal. Since he couldn't figure it out, Ningyu decided to ignore it and put the breaking soul sword into his storage ring. Then, he started searching Zhongjin's body. Black dragon pouch, black dragon sword. The black dragon sword and black dragon pouch were both heaven-grade magic treasures. Naturally, Ningyu wouldn't miss out on them. He put them both into his storage ring, planning to erase the soul imprint inside when he had the chance. Storage ring? After searching for a while, Ningyu found a storage ring on Zhongjin's body and forcefully inserted his soul force into it. 1 million high-grade essence crystals. Ningyu was overjoyed because he found 1 million high-grade essence crystals inside the storage ring. I didn't expect Zhongjin to be so rich. This is worth it. After putting the storage ring into his storage ring, Ningyu frowned and found a yellowish book on Zhongjin's body. Heaven Opening 8 Desolation Palm. Seeing the words on the book, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't conceal the ecstasy on his face. The Heaven Opening 8 Desolation Palm was a soul attack spell, and its rank was not low. If he could successfully cultivate the Heaven Opening 8 Desolation Palm, his strength would be greatly improved. Now is not the time to cultivate. I should return to Tianqian City as soon as possible. Suppressing the urge to cultivate the Heaven Opening 8 Desolation Palm, Ningyu started to move, intending to return to Tianqian City. Rustle. However, at this moment, he noticed Song Fei, who was trembling in fear. Ningyu, don't come any closer. Song Fei revealed a terrified expression when he saw Ningyu approaching him, and he hurriedly said, "Spare me. As long as you spare me, I'm willing to do anything." Is that true? Ningyu originally wanted to kill Song Fei with a single strike and end all troubles. But when he heard Song Fei's words, he frowned slightly and said, "Actually, it's not impossible for me to spare you, but you have to promise me one thing." Plop. Song Fei suddenly knelt on the ground and said, "As long as you spare me, let alone one thing, even if you promise me 10 things, 100 things, I'll still be willing." All right. Relax your mind. No matter what happens, as long as you don't have my permission, don't resist. Ningyu said indifferently. Hearing this, Song Fei was stunned. But in order to survive, he still did as he was told. Swoosh. In the next moment, a wisp of soul strength flew out of Ningyu's body and entered Song Fei's consciousness. Ah! As soon as the soul strength entered Song Fei's consciousness, Song Fei let out a terrified cry. The energy in his consciousness surged, trying to resist. At this moment, Ningyu's voice rang in his ears, "If you want to live, behave yourself." His eyes were filled with viciousness. Helplessly, Song Fei could only suppress the anger in his heart and behave. Actually, he had already guessed what Ningyu wanted to do. Ningyu wanted to inject soul strength into his consciousness and completely control his life and death. Originally, he was extremely unwilling. But the current situation did not allow him to have the slightest bit of resistance. Because he was very clear that if he dared to resist, Ningyu would definitely kill him. After I escape this, I will definitely find an expert to help me expel the soul strength from my consciousness. Song Fei secretly made up his mind. He would first pretend to be under Ning Yu's command and then think of a way. Buzz buzz. Not long after, Ning Yu injected soul strength into Song Fei's consciousness and hid in the depths of the cyclone. Unless the strength of his soul strength reached grade 6, it was impossible to remove the control on Song Fei's soul. Song Fei, you better not play any tricks. Ning Yu said in a deep voice, you should be very clear that if I wanted to kill you now, it would be effortless. Ning Yu, no, young Master Ning, how would I dare to play tricks? Song Fei said respectfully. Nodding his head, Ning Yu asked, Millimeter, very good. I see that you are together with Zhong Jin. Have you already pledged allegiance to the Zhong family? Thump. Hearing Ning Yu's words, Song Fei knelt on the ground again and said in fear, Young Master Ning, this is all because of that old man Zhong Jin. If I don't agree to him, he will kill me. Hee, don't be nervous. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.